A digital frontier. I tried to picture clusters of information as they moved through the computer. What did they look like? Ships, motorcycles? Were the circuits like freeways? I kept dreaming of a world I thought I'd never see. And then, one day...
You got in.
That's right, man. I got in. And the world was more beautiful than I ever dreamed. And also more dangerous than I ever imagined. Hop in bed now. Come on. Now, I met a brave warrior.
Tron.
Bum, 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 bum. Tron.
He fights for the users.
He sure does. Oh, man, he showed me things that no one had ever imagined. There are these disc battles fought in spectacular arenas and cycles that raced on ribbons of light. So radical. And together,
You built the grid.
we built a new grid for programs and users. Now, I couldn't be in there all the time, so I created a program in my own image that could think like you and me. And I called him Clue.
Codified likeness utility.
That's right. And Clue, Tron, and I, we built a system where all information was free and open.
This world is truly out of its mind. Just as you think you have a handle on what is going on, and you feel you have a solid grasp on what is being planned in this world, these people then introduce new agendas. The timing of my awareness and grasp on this subject is something that is not coincidental at all. A day before Facebook's major announcement, while I was engaging in research on another subject, I was introduced to this overall agenda. I would hear about the metaverse here and there and just ignore it. To me, it just sounded like another one of their distractions to get me off of my game. But as I began to look into this for myself, I realized just how wrong I actually was. And quite frankly, I was older than I thought myself to be. To be very honest, this whole agenda really aged me because as I was learning it, I kept saying the same phrase. And when I started explaining it to my wife, she said the same thing as well. I don't get it. Honestly, I didn't actually get how this all was going to be attractive to people and why people would choose this. But I realized that the younger generation was being conditioned for this agenda since they were very young. And the truth is that my generation has been as well. After I realized how big this agenda was, I instantly started to dig in to gain understanding. And as I was reading and learning, I will be reminded of all the small influences that were shown to me over my lifespan of 40 years or so that have been conditioning me for this agenda. Now, I am in no way an expert on this agenda, but I do have a big enough grasp on it that I can communicate what it is all about from an alternative perspective than the hundreds to thousands of cheerleaders that are cheering on this new world that is being created right before us. This agenda must be understood for multiple reasons. For those of you watching that have young children or even raising young adults, if you care about them, it's imperative that you understand this agenda as well. The world is changing fast. In the past, in many of my videos, I have always stated that one of the biggest agendas in this world is about creating a new world order. But to my surprise, the agenda is not only about creating a new world order, but along with it, a completely new world altogether. It's time to understand this agenda. It's time to understand the metaverse. Let's begin. So this is one of those discussions that everyone needs to really pay attention to and learn. They are slowly planning on introducing us into a new digital world that they are creating. The stuff that looked like science fiction that they spoke about in movies is really a reality that they want us to be a part of. And like everything else that they do, they are not preparing the masses by proper notification and education, but they are not hiding it either. They have put the information out there for us. And like with everything else, it is up for us as individuals to do our own due diligence to understand and prepare. They introduced this whole thing under a backdrop of problems at Facebook with the whistleblower distraction and a whole attack on one of the most powerful tech companies in the world. They made the public believe that the announcement at Facebook was simply about them trying to save their brand from the bad engineered press they were receiving. Because if Facebook made this change without the backdrop of this whistleblower and being bad for children nonsense, as if these people really care, then more people would be asking questions. But what we have here is that one of the most powerful tech companies in the world that has 2.9 billion active users around the world, a company that knows more about each individual in the world than they ever should, is now changing their focus from social media to the metaverse. And the majority of the masses don't even question what is going on and what the metaverse is, because of the distraction that was created for them a little beforehand. It was a perfect smokescreen. But for me, it's not something that can be ignored. And it also goes back into the overall picture and agenda I have been speaking on within this channel. So what is the metaverse? Let me cover that first.
The next platform and medium will be even more immersive, an embodied internet where you're in the experience, not just looking at it. And we call this the metaverse. And you're going to be able to do almost anything you can imagine. Get together with friends and family, work, learn, play, shop, create, as well as entirely new categories that don't really fit how we think about computers or phones today.
Well, maybe let me cover how I got here first. I was doing some research on NFTs because I heard how Tom Brady was making his football an NFT.
There was
Yeah,
a lot
did you
of
get the ball back?
negotiations trying to get that. We got it back, so I got it back.
Yeah.
There was a lot of
Where is it?
negotiation in order to get the ball back.
Is the ball in Canton, or have you made it into an NFT? Talk about what the ball is.
It's shortly an NFT. You can autograph.io. You go there to bid on it. There's a lot of great things, auction items, memorabilia.
I couldn't understand what was happening because from what I understood, Tom Brady was going to be keeping the football.
Get it back, but I don't keep too many. I don't actually keep too many things. So, in that circumstance, I felt like that might be a good one to keep.
But through the NFT, he was going to sell it digitally. So someone anywhere else in the world could own the digital rights to it. That made no sense to me. I couldn't understand why someone would want to own something digitally they never would actually touch physically, but spend thousands to even millions of digital dollars for it. Again, I feel like I was being aged out. So I had to dig deeper. And from that digging, I stumbled into the metaverse. And right after I got a small foundation on it, then Mark Zuckerberg did his keynote and made the announcement about the name change and gave a massive amount of details along with it. I'll be using clips from the keynote to cover details he spoke on.
Rather than just focusing on this year's products like a normal keynote, we're going to talk about the future. So let's start by exploring what different kinds of metaverse experiences could feel like, starting with the most important experience of all, connecting with people. Imagine you put on your glasses or headset and you're instantly in your home space. It has parts of your physical home recreated virtually. It has things that are only possible virtually. And it has an incredibly inspiring view of whatever you find most beautiful.
Hey, are you coming?
Yeah, just got to find something to wear. All right, perfect.
Okay, so again, what is the metaverse? Very simply, it's a new digital universe, a digital world. It's the next era of the internet, which is projected to deliver a digital environment that is similar to real life. It's a whole new world that people around the world will be plugged into. The metaverse will exist in parallel to reality, allowing people to work, open businesses, socialize, communicate, and interact with one another in a fully immersive system of virtual destinations. Right now, all of us look at the internet through our phones, computers, and other devices. What the metaverse will do is move us into the internet. It is actually likened to living in the internet. Have you ever seen the movie Tron? That's what it's about. What you may want to say is, yeah, this is just virtual reality. There's no way people can live in the internet like in the movie Tron. But you need to gain understanding. is very deep. It's much deeper than just virtual reality. You see, virtual reality headsets and hardware like that are just tools that assist people in plugging in. But when you add in the other pieces into place, like blockchain technology, cryptocurrencies, artificial intelligence, 5G internet, remote work, gaming, and online social activities, all these pieces will meet at one singular point to create a virtual universe in the form of what we will call the metaverse. People will live in an artificial, augmented reality.
Artists going around Soho hiding AR pieces for people to find.
3D street art? That's cool.
Send that link over so we can all look at it. This is stunning.
Okay, that is something.
It's awesome.
I love the movement.
Wait, it's disappearing.
This is amazing.
Hold on. I'll tip the artist and they'll extend it.
Wow. Brilliant.
If you guys like it here, I have another room that you're going to love. Check out this forest room.
Huh, let's see it.
Koi fish that fly? That's new.
This is wild. Hey, one sec, Boz. It's Priscilla.
Hey, you have to see this. Beast is going crazy.
Oh, I love that guy. We've got to show that to the kids. Can you also send that to my dad?
I'll message him.
All right, see you at home. This place is great, Boz, but there's something I got to get back to. All right.
People will live inside the internet.
That's it, Mark. I'm moving to the metaverse.
All right.
They will be merging the physical world with the digital.
And you'll be able to take your items and project them into the physical world as holograms in augmented reality too. First, we're building tools that creators can use to place digital objects into the physical world and let people interact with them.
I'm excited. I got a package from Human.
This is Live Humans product, Super Beats, circulation superfood that supports healthy blood pressure.
I got the Super Beat powder, helps with circulation, superfood.
You put a scoop in water, it tastes delicious.
I'm telling you, I took it and I walk 5 miles a day. Every day.
So this is Super Beats. What it's actually going to do is increase the amount of nitric oxide your body makes.
So I'm going to take some Super Beats. I've heard about this stuff before, so I'm pretty excited to try it.
So you just add a scoop to your water once a day? Yep. It's that easy.
What it's actually going to do is increase the amount of nitric oxide your body makes.
It's important for cardiovascular health.
I don't think you understand how excited I am about this.
The last time I had a physical, they took my blood pressure and my doctor said, whatever you're doing, continue to do that.
So it's been about 30 minutes. I'm actually feeling really good.
I'm feeling great. I have a lot of energy. It's almost like I'm drinking a cup of coffee.
I get those nitric oxide stores topped off. I feel great breathing when I'm working hard.
I'm climbing up this mountain right here. And I've been performing, I'd say, like a 20-year-old.
Cardiovascular health is important for everyone. Everyone has a heart. You guys got to take good care of it.
Cheers.
Looking to increase energy, stamina, circulation? I've got your back, because I found a new superfood supplement that can help with all that while supporting healthy blood pressure levels. And what is up, you pieces of special? I'm John Bastow, the author of Fitness Made Simple, The Power to Change Your Body and Life. And this right here is Super Beats. Created by a company called Human, Super Beats is made of non-GMO beets grown in the US and contains no artificial flavors, colors, or sweeteners. In case you haven't heard me mention it before, beets are chock full of benefits. Beets naturally boost the production of nitric oxide in the body, primarily due to the high level of nitrates found in this root vegetable. Fun fact, nitric oxide is called the miracle molecule because of its heart-healthy benefits. Super Beets is highly concentrated, clinically researched, and scientifically formulated to provide optimum levels of nitric oxide. Just a single teaspoon, the recommended daily serving like I'm taking here, provides the nitric oxide equivalent of 3 whole beets. That helps increase natural energy and stamina without added sugar, caffeine, or stimulants, promotes heart health along with circulation, and supports healthy blood pressure levels. Plus, both the apple and black cherry flavors of Super Beets taste great. And mixing a scoop in 4 to 6 ounces of water is a heck of a lot less hassle than chowing down on 3 actual beets a day. I like this product. I'm also very impressed at how the company Human is helping to improve people's health by redefining the way we think about nutrition and how it affects our bodies. Super Beets was created based on exclusive patents from the University of Texas Health and Science Center. Over 3 million products have been sold, and positive reviews are seen all over the Super Beats website.
To try out this heart healthy energy powder, click the link below and order now before it's too late.
The grand vision of the metaverse is to provide a parallel digital universe connected to our physical world through multiple digital technologies. This parallel virtual environment and the bringing together of the online and offline worlds will allow the user to experience and communicate in the digital world through avatars, which will be the user's chosen persona. And it will feature many elements from physical reality, including buildings, work, and leisure locations, and other different landscapes. One big thing that is happening right now currently is that people are buying digital plots of land in the metaverse. They are buying digital real estate right now. I mean, it's absolutely crazy.
There is a building boom breaking out, but it's not happening in your backyard. It is happening in a fake world called the metaverse. The virtual real estate market is on fire right now, and our next guest says there is real money to be made in this fake land grab.
What's unique about the metaverse today is that virtual worlds are being designed specifically for adults, where they can live inside these virtual worlds and carry out their life.
Websites like Rentable are literally a leasing agency for virtual real estate. Like, all you really have to do is just browse and choose the property that's within your monthly budget. Make sure the length of the lease is what you need and the location is good. And also there's a security deposit, just like in the real world, where if you're late on paying the rent for the following month, then you lose that deposit. And then soon as you pay for your first month's rent, the land is yours to do whatever you want with, right?
The ultimate goal of the metaverse is to look and feel like physical reality, allowing your avatar to move around freely, interact with others, and access information just like in the real world. The metaverse aims to connect with reality by designing a large-scale virtual reality setting where anyone can have a persistent presence as an extension of their physical self or company. The metaverse could also be a merger of all realities, filled with artificial intelligent entities, making it possible for people and other beings to communicate and interact in shared environments. An example of this is like what they showed in that movie, Free Guy. There are so many different purposes that the metaverse will take care of. Let me sum this all up for you. The elite of this world, who control a majority of the world's wealth. You see, in 2019, the Oxfam report showed that the world's richest people own 50% of the world's wealth. In their report done in 2020, they showed that the world's richest 1% have more than twice as much wealth as 6.9 billion people. And the wealth gap has grown even more larger since the pandemic. These people have gained complete control over the world and its resources. They own the land, the real estate, the businesses, our social entertainment, pretty much our complete way of life. And being that they now have a complete handle on all these things, and also being that there is no way to bridge a union between the rich and the poor, the rich will stay rich and the poor will stay poor, they have created an alternate universe that allows the poor to live in a digital reality where they can escape the true reality of this world.
A prison for your mind.
A place where they can use their digital money or cryptocurrency tokens to buy and sell in a digital universe. This will make the world a lot smaller and easier to control. While the rich will stay rich and own all the actual physical assets, the real stuff, the poor will try to build something for themselves online in a new digital world. They literally have created the Matrix. For me, I just couldn't understand how people could actually accept something like this. But apparently, the youth have been conditioned for this for a long time, which made me go back and think on a situation I had one summer a decade ago with my now adult son. One summer, he asked if he can play this game called Roblox on his computer. When he showed me, it looked harmless compared to the games he could have been asking me to play, so I let him play. And day by day, I saw that he would stay on the computer longer and longer. He wouldn't go outside to play basketball even. He would just play this game. And at some point, I got tired of it and took the game away from him and told him I wasn't going to let him live in a virtual world. Because to me, That's what it looked like he was doing. And we canceled it. That was 8 to 10 years ago, I believe. But I remember it clear as day. And what I was protecting him from then has evolved into something even more prevalent and dangerous today.
Gaming is how a lot of people are going to step into the metaverse for the first time.
So the first thing I want to do is give a warning to all parents of children. These virtual reality games are not harmless. And though by taking a stand against them, you may be removing their world from them, you will be doing them ultimate good. These games have them living in a virtual alternate reality that is growing by the day and intends for their minds to be attached to a world not created by our Father in heaven, our true creator. All the games from Roblox to Fortnite to Grand Theft Auto, which your children shouldn't be playing anyway, Rec Room, and anything like that, are introducing and conditioning your child to live in an alternate reality. The metaverse aims to be a central hub for all of these games and more, and will allow them to teleport and go between games. They have been conditioned to care deeply about their avatars because this is what represents them online. They buy them clothing and make sure they look good. This is absolutely crazy, but absolutely true. This young generation actually cares more about how their avatars look online more than how they care about how they look physically in the real world. They have been conditioned to care more about the metaverse than our true physical world. Last year, a rapper named Travis Scott did a virtual concert on Fortnite where 27 million users attended. 27 million. For context, last year's NBA playoffs averaged 4.2 million viewers, and Game 6 of the finals brought in 12.5 million viewers. This concert doubled that. So you can see this is real influence, and it comes from all around the world. They attended a concert while in their homes, and possibly many of your living rooms or in their bedrooms in your homes. This is the metaverse, and they are already in it. They are even buying Gucci bags for their avatars. Gucci bags for online characters.
All right, now you got to put it on and we got to see how it looks.
Okay.
You got a real life Gucci bag in Roblox. You gotta walk the runway. Yeah. Okay, I see you with a Gucci bag.
This is 1000% real. And many of the games are introducing it to them. Even a game like NBA 2K, which you would think is harmless because it's all about basketball, it allows a player of the game to create their own character. These children, and also a lot of adult men, they work hard to develop their avatars who have very realistic features. They then take these characters and let them move about in the cities, talking to other players, going to courts, playing pickup games. They have been trained to create online personas that they care for very much, and they collect virtual currency, which they call VC, which is exactly like digital cryptocurrency, except that it is game specific. And they care deeply about those coins and currency.
What I'm gonna be doing is I'm gonna be surprising my girlfriend with the $70,000, 70,000 Robux Gucci bag.
So if you think that this is far-fetched and couldn't be accepted, this has aged you too, because it already has been accepted. And the better they get with the technology, the more it will be accepted and adopted.
Actually, that is so good.
If you want to eat healthy and feel your best.
This is what NFTs are for. People buying digital property to own in the metaverse. You can buy an NFT and hold it in your digital home, just like Zuckerberg shows here. When I started researching the Great Reset, I found a quote from Klaus Schwab, founder and executive chairman of the World Economic Forum. He has a quote that always bothered me, but I could never understand how they would make that to be true. The quote was, "You will own nothing and be happy." But I now see how they will make this to be true, because in the physical realm, you won't own anything. But in the digital realm, you will have possession of many things. Even your own house on the lake that you will live in virtually. And though the physical world will be a complete disaster, you won't care because they have created an alternate reality for you to live in. You see, That's also what they are not telling everyone. Let me help you see that. Do you know what has been the biggest promotion of this metaverse? Yes, the pandemic. When they implemented the worldwide lockdown, they pushed everyone online, and the youth especially got tapped in. Even adults got locked into virtual features like Zoom. This was all conditioning the population for entrance into a new digital world. Chaos in the world has been a catalyst for the most craziest change that has happened in the world. It's order out of chaos. And the Great Reset that they are planning that will occur after the collapse of the United States dollar will usher in the next phase to their implementation and conditioning. The majority of the planet who will be dealing with massive poverty, unrest, destruction, and in many cases, death, they will all be looking for an escape route of the physical reality. And the metaverse will provide this for them, which is why we are beginning to see the rollout now. The metaverse opens a parallel world of opportunities for those less privileged by their immediate geography or economic circumstances. They will create a world where everything is much easier to govern and manage because all lives will be placed online, where everything is logged, monitored, tracked, and recorded. The plans are to be able to tie our physical identities to the metaverse in a singular way that allows identities to be known and not duplicated. All profile names will cross throughout all platforms. And if you violate the rules, you can easily be locked out. This is literally the Matrix in real life. People being plugged into a digital reality. There are so many agendas that coincide with this. It's hard to explain in all one video. This video needed to be made so that there was an alternative view on this subject away from the cheerleaders who are promoting this new virtual world. Parents need to be aware of this so they can help their children. But most importantly, everyone needs to understand what they are doing to this world we are in. They are moving the world out of our physical world that our Father created and moving them into a digital world that Satan has created. There are many different movies that have been alluding to this type of world scenario. But to me, it all sounded like crazy science fiction until I now see it all come together. You can be whatever you want to be in their new world. You can look like what you desire. If you are a 45-year-old, 350-pound white male, in the metaverse, you could transform yourself into a 10-year-old black girl if that is how you desire to appear to the rest of the world. There are no rules in this metaverse that has anything to do with our Father in heaven. But there, of course, will be rules of engagement. Very much how they do now with all the current rules on the web of what they say we can say or not say. Rules like that, but more global and further reaching. But this is it. All the people talking about unfounded conspiracy theories are now looking very ignorant. They are creating a whole new world right in front of our faces, literally telling us about it, though they are describing it as benevolent. But if you really think about it, every movie that they have made that has ever shown us about people living like this all show very big moral and ethical problems. We are already living during a time where they are removing Yah's influence away from this world. They have been conditioning the world to forget about him, his ways, and his purpose for us. People already live in a non-biblical reality. But on top of that, they're actually opening a doorway for the world to walk into that will put them into a new world that Satan has fully created and that he is the ultimate God of and is all-powerful and all-knowing and all-present. In the metaverse, Satan is the one who is omniscient, omnipresent, and omnipotent. He is literally creating a virtual world to replicate Yah's real power, and he is steering the world right into it, unknowingly but willingly. And all of you who care for Yah and his word, who are believers in the Bible, who believe in salvation only through Yeshua the Messiah, in English, Jesus Christ. If you are a true believer, this new world being created is in complete opposition to your belief. It is a complete attack against you, and they are hoping that as long as you live in ignorance, you will not be the wiser of what they are doing. They are hoping to have a mental stranglehold on our children that makes them view this alternate world as a good thing, but is bringing them right into Satanism, allowing them to live and do what they want. Living in another world that was not created by our Creator is one of the ultimate gestures that will show allegiance to Satan and his new world. Now, someone may say, Show me a scripture where God says we shouldn't use virtual reality. Maybe there are scriptures that have alluded to it, but I don't know if at this time I have recognized it. But that doesn't even matter. Yah created the real earth. The first verse of the Bible, Genesis chapter 1, verse 1 says, "In the beginning, Elohim created the heavens and the earth." We know that this world that we live in is his. He is the creator of it. All things were made through him, and without him, nothing was made that was made. John chapter 1, verse 3. This new virtual world is a man-made creation where everyone can take part in creation. It has nothing to do with Yah. And when they blend their digital world with the physical, they are completely creating a new satanic world that Satan has dominion over. This is always the scheme or plot. This is always the backdrop and plan amongst the wicked men of this world. They are creating a world in service to Lucifer. And if you are not walking in discernment, and you're living in a world that does not keep Yah and his word first, you can and will be sucked right into it. Sadly, our youth around the world have already been conditioned into it. And parents, it is your job to have a conversation with your children and bring them out of it. If they have been using most of their time engaging in a virtual world where they hang with their friends, they have been giving more of their life to Satan's world. To them, it may seem harmless and innocent. And to us parents, we have no idea what they are seeing and doing in there. I am not completely against video games, but I am against living in a virtual world, hanging out in a virtual world. This is a major satanic agenda that can fly by the multitude because it just looks like technological progress. As I have explained in numerous videos, science has been placed as a god of this world that is creating its own ways and pushing forth its own doctrines and mindsets, its own healing powers, its own take on gender, and what makes a man or a woman. And now, science is creating a whole new virtual world, a new world. And if believers do not get strong in their faith, they will find themselves dragged right into it very subtly, but purposely. If you imagine 2 years ago that the world would be embracing remote work, everyone working from home, having meetings online, you are a very forward-thinking individual. Years ago, there was not many who foresaw that the world would be the way it is now. But one event happened, and look how much has changed. There is a major event on the way, and when it occurs, it will bring forth massive change, and the metaverse will play a big role within it. It will facilitate a new economy. It will provide people with a means to escape the real world that seems so horrible. It will allow the new world government to speak to everyone on earth at the same time. It will help ease people into the new world currency facilitated through crypto, because everything will be brought online anyway, so they'll just be doing everything in the metaverse. It will be promoted as a major contributor to help with the problem of climate change. It will be a major glue that brings the new world order agenda together. This is not science fiction or something that is years off. It is here now and growing every day with a goal of full implementation. And only the creators and companies like Facebook, now known as Meta, know completely where this is all going. It is important that believers detach themselves from this digital world and do not go through the doors that this world is opening. And parents, please close the doors for your children who may have already walked through them. I'm reminded of what Paul says about the wrath of Yah in Romans chapter 1, verses 18 through 25. In it, it says, "For the wrath of Elohim is revealed from heaven against all ungodliness and unrighteousness of men, who suppress the truth and unrighteousness. Because what may be known of Elohim is manifest in them, for Elohim has shown it to them. For since the creation of the world, the invisible things of Yah are clearly seen, being understood by the things that are made, even his eternal power and divinity, so that they are without excuse. Because although they knew Elohim, they did not glorify him as Elohim, nor were thankful, but became futile in their thoughts, and their foolish hearts were darkened. Professing to be wise, they became fools, and changed the glory of the incorruptible Elohim into an image made like corruptible man, and birds and four-footed animals and creeping things. Therefore, Elohim also gave them up to uncleanness in the lust of their hearts, to dishonor their bodies among themselves, who exchanged the truth of Elohim for the lie, and worshipped and served the creature rather than the Creator, who is blessed forever. Amen. It is so important not to be a part of this group that these verses are referring to. If you keep reading, you see what they are given over to. And remember, these people are subject to the wrath of Yah. And even as they did not like to retain Elohim in their knowledge, Elohim gave them over to a debased mind to do those things which are not fitting, being filled with all unrighteousness, sexual immorality, wickedness, covetousness, maliciousness, full of envy, murder, strife, deceit, evil-mindedness. They are whisperers, backbiters, haters of Elohim, violent, proud, boasters, inventors of evil things, disobedient to parents, undiscerning, untrustworthy, unloving, unforgiving, unmerciful, who, knowing the righteous judgment of Elohim, that those who practice such things are deserving of death, not only do the same, but also approve of those who practice them. Romans chapter 1, verses 28 through 32. So these people not only practice these things, but they approve of those who do this as well. And this is how much of the world lives today. I read this because this is how those that will be living in this virtual world will be looked at in the eyes of our Creator. This is another wake-up call for those in Messiah to bring all thoughts captive into the obedience of our Messiah. You need to use some discernment. We must obey and follow the word of Yah and turn away from this world in the direction that it's heading. If the world cared about you, they would be fully informing you and allowing you to make your own educated choice. Instead, it tells you it's up to you to figure it all out, while it slowly steers you and your children right into it. Like I showed, our children care more about how they appear in the virtual world than they do in the physical one that Father made. You must be smart and above all, put down all idols and commit to the will of our Father in heaven. Read his word and obey it. Choose his world over the world Satan has created. Your time is almost up. Make the right choice. Be blessed. Okay, thanks again for watching. If this has blessed you, please don't forget to like and share this video with others. All believers who are parents need to understand this. If you haven't done so already, please subscribe to this channel. Elohim willing, I upload every Friday. Don't forget to follow this ministry on Facebook and Instagram, as well as on my website, truthunedited.com. Thank you for watching. I'm thankful for all of you. Thank you especially to those Elohim has placed it on your hearts to give, and you have done so. Thank you for your assistance in carrying out this ministry every week. Thank you for your blessings and your prayers. They truly support this ministry. Okay, thanks again for watching, everyone.
Hallelujah, hallelujah. Can I be heard? Can I be heard? Give me Yahoo if I can be heard up in the chat. Good to see y'all in the building, family. Bless up, bless up, bless up. Metaverse, huh? What y'all think about the whole metaverse? The beyond the universe, the digital verse, the digital reality being created right in front of your eyes. Bless up. Good to see y'all in the building. Let me see if I can move this back a little bit. Okay, I can't be heard. All praise. Good to see y'all. You already know. You know, we had to go ahead and get it done, man. But yeah, y'all, these are the things that's happening right in front of our eyes. Because I mean, that would be conducive to what we call the mark of the beast, right? And we dealing with won't be able to buy or sell unless you got, you know, that good old forehead stamp or mark, or that something in that right hand. And there's many different breakdowns and ideologies of what that is and what that consists of. But with a cashless society, think about it. Cashless society, everything's digital. It really ain't no cash no more. They just moving digits around. They create money out of nowhere. Look at all the cryptocurrencies and all that. They create money out of nowhere. All right. But with that would come a digital reality. They already got the babies playing Roblox, purchasing Robux. You understand? Trip off your boy Mark Zuckerberg, the heathen, right? The one that created Facebook and I think Facebook on Instagram too, if I ain't mistaken. But trip off that. Like, look, it's 2 billion or 3 billion people on Facebook. And what Mark Zuckerberg tried to do not that long ago was create his own currency. Create his own currency. And if you want to buy anything off his platform, you got to use his currency. All right. But with that, look, he got 2 to 3 billion people on his platform. Right. That right there will undermine what's called the Federal Reserve debt note, or the world reserve currency, which is currently the so-called US dollar. You got 2 billion people spending, 2 to 3 billion people spending Facebook currency on Facebook, or what's called the meta knot. You understand what I'm saying? He tried to do that, boy. Them regulators came and said, boy, if you don't sit down somewhere, he tried to make a move. That wasn't that long ago. About a year and a half ago, that heathen tried to straight pull a jack move on the US dollar. And they made him sit down behind that, boy. Sit down. You understand? So, like, to me, it just makes sense. It makes sense based off where everything is going. Look, the dollar is even a digital unit for the most part. I mean, it really ain't that much cash left around. Like, they're creating this concept of what you call currency out of thin air. Thin air. A new crypto, thousands of cryptocurrencies out now. Thousands. You understand? Because the whole concept is fake. There really is no money if you get into it. You should just trip off how everything is set up. But that's another discussion. What I'm saying is it makes sense to me that there would be some type of digital universe. You got the blockchain. All right. You got the NFTs, the non-fungible tokens. All right. Of course, you got the cryptocurrencies. Now they got what's called the metaverse, which goes back. If y'all seen the movie Denzel played in back in the 90s, I think it was, called Virtuosity. Yeah, they've been conditioning everybody, not just the youngsters. Everybody been conditioned for this. You understand? So y'all look focused. The kingdom of heaven is within. The kingdom of heaven is within. All right. You already got everything. You got the kingdom of heaven. You already rich. Right? It's just you got to know that and understand that and feel that. You already got everything. What can someone offer you in exchange for the kingdom of heaven? Why would you barter or trade the precious pearl called the kingdom of heaven for stones and pebbles? All right. I mean, look, it sounds wild, but y'all, this is where it's at. But it's only seductive and enticing to those who don't know that the kingdom of heaven is already within you. You already got it. You already got it. All right. So bless up. Bless up. Good to see y'all in the building. Salute to all y'all going strong, standing strong, dedicating these mind, body, and spirits completely over to the Almighty. Bless up. Bless up. Many testimonials coming in. Also, salute to any of the brothers and sisters that we may have helped and ducking any of these so-called jab mandates at the jobs or any of that. Yeah, we do that for free. We don't charge. And then I heard some people charging. Ain't that crazy? Couple $100 to get you an exemption letter. Ain't that something? I'm like, what? You know what I mean? But hey, whatever. It's all good. So, salute to y'all that, got them exemption, those exemption letters to duck that so-called mandate, and that you had the courage to go on down to your HR department and, turn that in. Say, I'm standing on it. You know what I mean? So all praise and glory now to the Most High. Bless up, bless up. Been a busy week for y'all, brother. But hey, we still above ground, so we winning, baby. Bless up. All praise to the Most High. Forever live his anointed, beloved Son in the hearts and minds of every last one of you brothers and sisters. All right? But focus. Focus. Because game on. Believe that, know that. Yeah, Keela, I heard of somebody charging like $300-400. I'm like, what? Are you serious? Somebody charging $300 for a little famous little ministry. Charging $300-400 for an exemption letter. I'm like, are you serious? We send them suckers out. We just sent out Close to 1,000 of them suckers for free. Bless up. Look at Roddy Rod. Roddy Rod been studying that Black's Law Dictionary. I hear you, Roddy Rod. Contracts overrides anything. Sure do. A lot of people don't know that. You talking that Marcus Israel talk now, brother. Bless up. Bless up. Bless up. All right, y'all want to start this real quick. Then we're gonna get back into chapter 11 of this. Excellent read, y'all. You know what I mean? I would encourage you, brothers and sisters, I highly advise, go get this from a historical point of view. Robert Eisenman, James, the brother of Jesus, and the Dead Sea Scrolls, volume 1. I got both volumes. The historical James, Paul, the enemy, and Jesus' brothers as apostles. It is some groundbreaking info in there. Man. So we're going to get back into that too. But before we do that, look at y'all. Before we do that, we're going to go into the book of Acts real quick. I want to show y'all something. Because a lot of people don't understand how important or the authority that James, the just, the biological brother of the Messiah, history knows him as James the just, YHWH'S. You know what I mean? James the righteous. That was his actual brother. All right. And the leader of the whole Nazarene sect after he died, before it was hijacked. All right. So a lot of people don't know anything about him because he's briefly mentioned in the New Testament. You understand? But when you get into like historical references and all that, he all over the place. You feel me? All your early church historians talk about him, going back to the 1st century. You know, you got Robert Eisenman and him being monumental in bringing out the Dead Sea Scrolls to the public. And, you know, his strong conviction is that the teacher of righteousness in there is actually James. You understand? Because the teachings parallel. You dig? So I advise y'all to get that, you know, some excellent reading, you know, and plenty of scriptures to back up what's being said. Right? And if it resonates with your spirit, roll with it. If you don't, hey, can't nobody force you to believe anything. All right? You got to arrive at a point in your spirit to where you can hear the voice of the Most High and be like, okay, yeah, I'm rocking with that. That makes sense to me. Nothing more revolutionary than a transforming thought. All right? All right, so let me show y'all this real quick. I'm going to go to the book of Acts 12 real quick. I want to show this because sometimes this is overlooked. All right? And then we can get it on in. All right? Bless up. And a lot of brothers don't even know that James was an actual apostle. You did? But off Paul's own mouth. Paul called him an apostle. Off his own mouth. All right? So let me go right here first. Bless up. All right. Dismiss that. Let me see if y'all can see that. All right, bye. See if I pull it up real quick, y'all. All right, bye. Quick nav. I go to the book of Acts. I want to show something. All right. I'm going to go to Acts 12. All right. We're going to read this. This is about when K5, Peter, when he got locked up. All right. All right. Acts chapter 12, verse 1. Check y'all. Make sure y'all doing all good. Blessings to everybody in the chat. Shout out to all the haters, jaw jackers, and naysayers. We love y'all too. Bless up. All right. Bang. All right. Abundant blessings. Peace, love, light, healing, and balance to all you brothers and sisters, even our enemies. All right. Peter's arrest and deliverance. Acts 12:1. Now about that time, Herod, the king, stretched forth his hands to vex certain of the church. Right. The church meaning the assembly of Messiah that was in Jerusalem. All right. And he killed James, the brother of John, with the sword. This is not James, the Messiah's brother. This is James, the brother of John. All right. All right. So the Herodians were our enemies and still are. They're the enemies of the Messiah's movement. All right. Herod. All right. The Herodians are our enemies. Believe that, know that. Now, there's a famous apostle in the Bible that straight said he blood related to the Herodians. Oh, we. All right, verse 3. And because he saw it pleased the Yahudim, he proceeded further to take Peter also. Then were the days of unleavened bread. All right, so this is around the Pesach, around the Passover. All right, so Peter gets locked up because it pleased the unbelieving Yahudim who didn't believe in the testimony that Yahusha is Messiah, Mashiach. All right, Acts 12:4. And when he had apprehended him, he put him in prison and delivered him to 4 quaternions of soldiers to keep him, intending after Easter to bring him forth to the people. All right. I know a lot of people act as if this word ain't in the Bible. It is in the Bible, y'all. It says Easter. All right. What's not in the Bible is the ritual of Easter eggs and bunnies and Easter egg hunting. But that word right there is in the Bible. All right. Whether you want to call it a mistranslation or whatever scribe there was decided to put Easter there instead of Passover, you get into different versions and they correct it. But Easter is right there. Believe it or not. You know what I mean? And we know that's a fallacy. All right. So that's a conflict. Now I know the breakdown. Well, verse 3 said them was the days of unleavened bread. Of course it say that. You ain't saying it don't. But we can't act like Easter. The word Easter ain't in the Bible. We can call it a mistranslation. Or we can say a scribe put that in there on purpose to mislead the people. Whatever you want to, however you want to play it. We got conflict here. All right. We got conflict. But let's click on this. All right. Let's click on this so we can see what's the word it come from. All right.
Strong's G 3957. Pascha. Pascha.
Pascha. When you get down to the root word, the etymology come from Pesach. You know how to read the Hebrew, Pesach, meaning Passover. All right, so the word should have been Passover right there, but you still got a scribe who wrote in English Easter. That's my point. So we can't act like things ain't been added into the scriptures or taken away from the scriptures. Right in your Bible, it happens all the time. All right. Notice what it says. Passover is translated as Passover 28 times and Easter only 1 time. All right. So yes, that's a mistake in the Bible. It's a mistake. Right now, you got what's called, Strong's Concordances and blue letter Bibles where you can look the word up. But what about back in the day when they didn't have it? They had to roll with what they just read, Easter. You see what I'm saying? So yes, that's one example. That's a hiccup. That's a mistake. That's a conflict in the Bible. That's just one. All right. Some people act like that ain't, No, that's about, look, I know it means Passover. My point being, a scribe wrote in English Easter. Even though in the Greek it meant Passover and says Passover, they still wrote Easter. Now we can argue all day over for what reason did they do that, or was it a mistake? Was it an accident? Was it done on purpose? That's a whole nother debate. The point is, in English it says Easter. That's my point. And a scribe who was supposed to have been a scholar in the Greek language and in the Hebrew language saw what it said and still decided to write Easter. For whatever agenda that's being pumped, whatever agenda. The point being, it says what it says, all right? Somebody wrote that down under someone's authority, all right? But we see it means Passover, though. So that's the word that's supposed to be there, y'all, all right? We're not ducking. We ain't going to act like it ain't there. All right. So again, the Paschal sacrifice, which was a custom to be offered for the people's deliverance of old from Egypt, and you go on down, you see that it actually means Passover. Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. And when he had apprehended him, he put him in prison and delivered him to 4 quaternions of soldiers to keep him, intending after Easter or Passover to bring him forth to the people. Verse 5. Peter therefore was kept in prison. But prayer was made without ceasing of the church or the assembly of the Messiah's believers, the assembly of believers unto the Most High for him. All right. When Herod would have brought him forth the same night, Peter was sleeping between 2 soldiers, bound with 2 chains, and the keepers before the door kept the prison. And behold, the angel of the Most High came upon him, and a light shined in the prison. And he smote Peter on the side and raised him up, saying, "Arise up quickly." And his chains fell off from his hands. So this is divine intervention. You know, he's locked up, he's in the hole, and he's about to be delivered. All right, all praises. That's what's up. That's what the text is conveying. Verse 8, and the angel said unto him, "Gird thyself and bind on thy sandals." And so he did. And he saith unto him, "Cast your garment about thee and follow me." And he went out and followed him, and wist not that it was true, which was done by the angel, but thought he saw a vision. Peter thinking he's in a vision. He's like, what is going on? You understand? But I'm out of here, though. Believe that. I'm out of here. All right? All right, hold on one second, y'all. Verse 10. When they were past the first and the second ward, they came unto the iron gate that leadeth unto the city, which opened to them of his own accord. And they went out and passed on through one street, and forthwith the angel departed from him. Forthwith the angel departed from him. All right, verse 11. And when Peter was come to himself, he said, "Now I know of a surety that the master have sent his angel and have delivered me out of the hand of Herod and from all the expectation of the people of the Yahudim." And when he had considered the thing, he came to the house of Miriam, the mother of John, whose surname was Mark, where many were gathered together praying. As Peter knocked at the door of the gate, a damsel came to hearken, named Rhoda. And when she knew Peter's voice, she opened not the gate for gladness, but ran in and told how Peter stood before the gate. And they said unto her, "Thou art mad." But she constantly affirmed that it was even so. Then said they, "It is his angel." Trip off that. So even amongst the believers, they understood that there are what we call guardian angels, correct? Trip off that. They saying that ain't him, that's his angel. That's his angel. That's the angel or that angelic force that's, you know, been put in charge of the physical man, Peter or Kepha. All right. All y'all got, everybody has guardian angels. All right. Some don't believe it, but it's the truth. The angel of the Most High encamps around those that fear him. That's in the book of Psalms. All right. Acts 12 and 16. But Peter continued knocking, and when they opened the door and saw him, they were astonished. But he beckoning unto them with the hand to hold their peace. He's like, look, calm down. Declared unto them how the master had brought him out of prison. And he said, "Go show these things unto James and to the brethren." And he departed and went into another place. That's where I wanted to go right there. All right. Notice, Peter was given instructions to go check in with James and the brethren once he was released from prison. Why? Why would James be brought up? You understand? And again, you know, he's barely mentioned a few times in Acts. Got a book of James, Paul's letter to the Galatians. You know, he mentioned a few times and all that directly. You understand? But why would Peter, who is a top apostle, why would he have to check in with James? Obviously, James got the authority. Obviously, James the just is the one that's in charge of the whole movement. That's why when you get into like the Clementine homilies and all that, Peter writes to James, calls him the bishop and master over the assembly, right? Clement writes to him. He's the master and bishop over all the churches and assemblies of the Hebrews, not only in Jerusalem, but everywhere. Right? That's why, he was sending men to check Paul, but Paul mentions it in his letters. Certain men sent from James. Whoever they may be, makes no difference to me. God accepts no man's person. You feel me? So the reason I'm going here is to show right here in the book of Acts, early in the book of Acts, Acts the 12th chapter, what do we have? We have Peter being divinely delivered out of bondage. And one of his first instructions is to go holler at James. Show these things unto James and to the brethren. And he departed and went to another place. You see that? If y'all understand what's being said here. Give me a Yahoo up in the chat. Y'all know I ain't trying to lose nobody. We ain't trying to lose nobody. All right. Notice that he got to come check in with James. All right, who was the leader of the Nazarene movement. James, leader of the Messiah's movement. James, just so happened to be his actual brother. All right, just so happened to be his brother. All right, so let's go show some of that. Let's go show some of that. Okay, I see Yahoo's in the building. All praises. He got to go show these things under James. Why him? Why him? He must be the one in charge. He must have the authority. All right, it makes sense. In Acts 15, James stands up and gives a judgment, gives an order. Matter of fact, let's go there next. Then I'm going to show y'all that James is one of the Messiah's brothers. You dig? Then we go to Galatians and show you that Paul himself admits it off his mouth. James, other apostles I didn't see except James, the brother of the Lord. He even calls him an apostle. You see that? All right, so let's go to Acts. Let's show you he has authority. All right, after divine deliverance, he had to go check in. That's just the truth. All right. And this is when Barnabas brings Paul up to Jerusalem, the council at Jerusalem. Because guess what? You got to give an account on what you're teaching. You got to give an account. All right. Like what he teaches has to line up with what the apostles are teaching, or we have a problem. You understand? That's why they came up with what's called the doctrine of reserve. We went over that before, but I'm gonna show some of this too. All right, this is the council at Jerusalem, and and what's on the table right now is circumcision. All right, let's jump on down though. Just want to show y'all this. Now look at this. When you get down to Acts 15 and 13, even in this blue letter Bible, it say right there, what it say? It says James' judgment. I mean, he has authority, y'all. He's the one that's going to deliver the final word to what? To go ahead and clear up the entire matter. All right, to clear it on up. This is my judgment. This is my sentence. This is this is the nail in the coffin. This is what they call it with the judge. He got that hammer in his hand. Pow! This is my judgment. This is what it's gonna be. All right, James' judgment. After they had held their peace, Yaakov with James answered, saying, "Men and brethren, hearken unto me. Simeon, who is Peter, have declared how the Most High the first did visit the Gentiles to take out of them a people for his name." And then he goes on to quote the prophet Amos. And to this agree the words of the prophets as it is written. All right, this is Amos 9, 11 and 12. After this, I will return and will build again the tabernacle of David, which is fallen down. And I will build again the ruins thereof, and I will set it up, that the residue of men might seek after the master, and all the Gentiles upon whom my name is called, say of the Most High, who doeth all these things. Known unto the Most High all his works from the beginning of the world. So he quotes Amos 9, 11 to 12. All right. And he compares that with Peter's whole thing he did with Cornelius. See, this is the beginning of the fulfillment of these prophecies that the prophet's been speaking about. You see that? See, the thing is, they already had Gentile protocol. All right. So there was no need for anyone else to come around and teaching a different message to the Gentiles, calling it the gospel of the uncircumcision. What you mean the gospel of the uncircumcision? Where is that at? The gospel of the uncircumcision. The good news of the uncircumcised. Nah, they already had. The deal is this. The Gentiles, whether you are Israelite who live as a Gentile or a regular Gentile, or someone who was born under the covenant as a native-born Yahudi, if you wanted to follow Messiah of Nazareth, the Nazarene, everyone was held to the same measure of discipline. Everyone was held to the same measure of discipline. Look, y'all, they even come down to what you eat, what you put in your body. Everybody was held to the same. It didn't matter. It didn't matter if you was native-born Yahudi, if you was an Israelite foreigner living as a Gentile, or if you was a regular Gentile. You want to follow Yahushua of Nazareth, Yahushua the Nazarene, and guess what? guess what? Everybody has to come up under the same measure of discipline. They already had Gentile protocol. Messiah already sent the disciples out to the nations right before he ascended. Go into all nations and do this. You see? They already had it going on. All right, verse 19. Wherefore my sentence is this. My sentence, my judgment. All right? My judgment is, matter of fact, let's click on this so y'all can see what I'm talking about.
Strong's G 2919. Krino.
All right. Right here, KJV translation Strong. So when he say my sentence is, it means judge, used 88 times, determine, condemn, go to law, call in question, abstain. All right. To separate, put asunder, to pick out, select, choose, to approve, esteem, to prefer, to be of opinion, deem, think, to be of opinion, to determine, resolve, decree, to judge, to pronounce an opinion concerning right and wrong, to be judged, i.e. summoned to trial, that one's case may be examined and judgment passed upon it, to pronounce judgment, to subject the censor of those who act the part of judges or arbiters in matters of common life or pass judgment on the deeds and words of others, to rule, to govern. So the fact of the matter is this. James stood up and said, my judgment is this, because guess what? He has the authority over the movement of the Messiah after the Messiah died and left this earth. He's the one with the authority. That's why he's able to stand up and say, this is my sentence. All right. Right on for the super chat, my beloved sister, the house of Deuel, y'all, my beloved sister Lisa Edwards. Bless up. Bless up. Hallelujah. Abundant blessings, y'all. Wherefore my sentence is that we trouble not them which from among the Gentiles are turned to Yah. Now, trip off this. Remember, y'all, this is a command. This is a judgment. This is what James, Yaakov, the righteous, is commanding Paul. I hear some of y'all now. Who is he to say anything to Paul? Like, y'all really don't realize what's been going on. You understand? This is the judgment that gets put down. And so the only question need to be from that point is, did Paul follow that? Or did he start teaching what he wanted to? Start defending his ministry. Ain't I'm an apostle? Haven't I seen Christ? Haven't I? You understand? Thing is, did he fall in line with this right here? What was judged? What was put down as authority? What was commanded? Did he fall in line with that? Or did he do his own thing? And you got to be real with yourself. All right. But then we write unto them that they abstain from pollutions of idols and from fornication and from strength and from things strangled and from blood. Y'all, that's an allusion to flesh eating. All right. Let's jump down. Let me show you. Verse 29 clears it up. That ye abstain from meats offered to idols and from blood and from things strangled, and from fornication, from which if ye keep yourselves, ye shall do well, fare ye well. That's the command. He's the one in authority. All right. Now, when it comes to the Torah tells you what meat is considered as offered to devils or the idols. We've been going over that. You understand? Look at the last video we just did. You'll see it. We'll walk you right through the Torah and show you what meats are that are abomination and that are offered to idols. Believe it or not, all the flesh you're eating that you're getting out of the shambles, out of the meat markets, at the slaughterhouses, all that's offered to idols. Because it's not slaughtered ritualistically according to how the Torah says it's supposed to be slaughtered. So guess what? It falls under the category it's offered to idols. It's not slain exactly how it says in the Torah, then it's offered to devils. It's offered to idols. All the flesh in the Gentile meat markets, aka your modern day grocery stores, are offered to idols. And it's been dead longer than 2 days, so it's an abomination according to the Torah. All of it. Now, you know what you're going to say now. What? Well, Christ died, so what, you got a right to eat meats offered to idols? Thing about that is, By the time Acts 15 came around, he was already dead then too. And the command still on the table by what? Not eating meat offered to idols. Well, according to the Torah, what is meat offered to idols? Flesh, look, flesh dead longer than 2 days. That's abomination. All right. Any flesh that ain't been brought to the Levite that's around you, if the blood ain't been put on the altar, if the fat ain't been burned on the altar, the blood ain't been poured out into the dust and covered with dust. All right. Dead flesh is a sacrifice. It is an offering. Only question is to whom. And if it ain't done like that, if it ain't been brought to the doorway of the tabernacle, if the priest ain't sprinkled the blood, if he ain't burned the fat, you understand? And it's true about this, and it's been dead longer than 2 days, y'all. It's not only an abomination, it's considered offered to devils. Offered to devils, offered to idols. That's why the Nazarenes stayed away from the flesh. That's why during the time of the Maccabees, when the temple was under attack, guess what? They didn't eat flesh. Surely, look at they in Israel. Surely they had access to lamb and all that. Surely they did ox and all that. It ain't like just because the Greeks was there, the only meat around was pig meat. No, they had access to other flesh, but guess what? The temple is not there. The temple was under attack. Ain't no priest at the altar. So guess what they ate? They waged a 3.5-year guerrilla warfare against Antiochus Epiphanes and them, y'all, on herbs, on plants, on veggies. 3.5 years. Yeah. Yeah. Because what they knew then is what we just not finding out now, y'all. If the requirements that the Torah has to ensure that it's not offered to idols, if that's not in place, then you're not to eat it. You're not to eat it. And that's if you're going by the flesh laws. That's if you're going by the flesh laws. All right. So when James commands Paul to teach this about meats offered to idols, and we find out according to the Torah, meats offered to idols and abominable meats, y'all, it ain't just talking about pork, shrimp, crab, and lobsters. It's talking about lamb too that's been dead longer than 2 days. And the priest ain't sprinkled the blood on the altar, and the fat ain't been burned on the altar. It ain't been brought to the doorway of the tabernacle. It ain't been completely drained by the blood, ain't been completely drained, poured out into the dust, and dust cover the blood. If that process ain't happened, y'all, it's offered to devils, idols, according to the Torah. You better believe not one Gentile is offering or slaughtering these animals how the Torah says it's supposed to be slaughtered. It's not. They're not. So that means all that flesh you eating is offered to devils. Yes, all that flesh, lamb you eating at the Passovers and the different feast days, y'all, all that's abomination. It's been dead longer than 2 days. And the priest ain't been able to do the ritual that the Torah describes. You understand? Let alone there are zero health benefits for the flesh anyway. And in these hours when plagues are in this earth and all that, you would think people would be more receptive. Like, y'all, what y'all saying makes sense. I ain't even gonna eat that. I'm good. People dropping dead like crazy, man. Look Cali Muscle, a bodybuilder dude, just had a heart attack. Heart attack. You understand? So again, y'all, what we're doing is pointing you back toward the beginning. That's what it is. Get back to the beginning, because what it was in the beginning is what it'll be in the end. All right, but this is the command. Abstain from meats offered to idols and from blood and from things strangled and from fornication. Y'all, keep in mind, at the time, there is no New Testament. So what is James quoting from? Well, it got to be the Torah, the Tanakh, what we call the Old Testament today. All right, well, that's said in the Torah. I just told you where it was at. Leviticus 17, 1-8, or 1-7, and verse 13. Jump over to Leviticus 7, 11-18. You'll see it. Put them together. You'll see it. That's the requirement right there. That's why he told them, tell them that. Because there ain't not one Gentile meat market or slaughterhouse that follows Leviticus when it comes down to how to properly prepare or slaughter your so-called flesh. Dead flesh is a sacrifice. It is an offering. All right. And if that ain't happening, y'all, it's offered to devils. Truth. I know it hurt. All right. So that's the command that went forth. All right. And the reason that command can go forth is because James is the one that's in authority. All right. Well, that means he was ordained by Mashiach himself. All right. Now, all right, let's drop that. Paul goes back to Jerusalem again after 14 years. Let's show this. Let's show y'all something. If y'all get some understanding, give me a 9 up in the chat. Y'all know we ain't trying to lose none of y'all. Bless up. Look, he still had to come check in because look, word is this man teaching crazy. All right. All right, Acts 21 and 17. Meaning he's teaching outside of what the brothers, what James and them, what the Messiah had left, the protocol the Messiah left to his brother and the rest of the apostles. He's teaching outside of that. There you go. You got to come back to Jerusalem. All right. Years later, Acts 21 and 17. And when we will come, this is Luke writing about when him and Paul went to Jerusalem. And about 20 other Gentiles that was with him. All right. He had a collection of money with him too. Now that's a whole nother story, but you'll see in his letters, he tell you, I'm going to Jerusalem. I need to get y'all money and take it. You understand? But that's a whole nother topic. But anyway, when we will come to Jerusalem, the brethren received us gladly. And the day following, Paul went in with us unto who? James. And all the elders were present. Why is James in Acts 12, in Acts 15, and now in Acts 21? It's clear that he's the one in charge. It's clear. Right? We just never knew it. We never could put it together. Because really the majority of the New Testament is Paul's letters. But what if Paul taught opposite of what he was commanded? Because Paul ain't got the authority over the apostles. You don't. You don't. And when he had saluted them, he declared particularly what things the Most High had brought among the Gentiles by his ministry. When they heard it, they glorified the Most High and said unto him, now this is Luke's account. This is what Luke is writing about when they went to Jerusalem. All right. Thou seest, brother, trip out this. How many thousands of Yahudim there are which believe. And they are all zealous of the law. Look at that. By the time Paul goes back up to Jerusalem his second time, it's thousands of native-born Israelites that believe in Mashiach. And that are zealous for the law. They zealots. Now these brothers don't play. Look at that. Thousands. James got the command over the Temple Mount. It's thousands in Jerusalem. Thousands of brothers that's zealous and they believe in Mashiach, his testimony. He like, look, I got the hitters with me. You see these thousands? Look at this. And they're zealots. I mean, they're not playing with you. All right? Now trip off this. And these thousands of Yahudim that believe, that are zealous, they are informed of you. This is what James is telling Paul. We didn't heard about you, what you teaching, that you teach all the Yahudim which are among the Gentiles to forsake Moses, saying that they ought not to circumcise their children, neither to walk after the custom. Be like, look, we done heard on the wire over these years, you teaching reckless. You teaching reckless. Look at this. What is it, therefore? This is what James asked him. Which one is it? You know, they zealous for the law. They saying you teach against the law. What is it? The multitude must needs come together, for they were heard that you are come. He's like, look, everybody done heard you heard. And everybody want to check your temperature, you know, concerning what you teach. Tell me what it is. Now look at this. Verse 23. Acts 21:23. Do therefore this that we say to you. Do therefore this that we say to you. He giving them a charge. He commanded them. Because James has the authority, y'all. Do therefore this that we say to you. He looked at this ain't advice. He commanded him. And somebody say, look, do what I'm telling you. Do what I say to you. We have 4 men which have a vow on them. Them take and purify yourself with them. And be at charges with them. That they may shave their heads, and all may know that those things whereof they were informed concerning you are nothing, but that you yourself also walk it orderly and keep the law. Now, y'all, when he said, look, take and purify yourself with them and be at charges with them. What y'all think that means? He said, look, do what we say to you. Like these men got a vow. Take them with you, purify yourself with them, and be at charges. All right? Now, they done heard he teaching against the law. It's thousands of zealous James got a control over. He just took them. He just told him, take these men that have a vow and you be at charges with them. You be at charges with them. What does that mean? Let's look at it in a different version. So y'all can see what's really going on. Let's see what's really going on here, y'all. All right, hold on. Let me click on Bibles. All right, Acts 21:24. Let's read this. All right, look what this means. And be at charges with them. All right. The New King James Version. Look what it says right there. Take them and be purified with them and pay their expenses. Pay their expenses so that they may shave their heads and that all may know that those things of which they were informed concerning you are nothing, but that you yourself also walk orderly and keep the law. Remind you, Paul shows back up in Jerusalem with this contribution, with this money. James like, look, you about to pay for their vows. You about to pay for that. Pay their expenses. You about to pay for the right. Basically put a temple tax on him. He taxed them. Basically made him look like a hypocrite in front of everybody. Because remember, Paul out there saying things like, if you're circumcised, Messiah don't mean nothing to you. Oh, I say those that just challenging you to be circumcised should castrate themselves, should be cut off. That's what that means. At times he go wholeheartedly against the law of the Most High. I'm talking wholeheartedly. You see? So what he did was tax him. You back up in here with this money. Look, he put a tax on him, right? And basically made him look opposite in front of everybody. You understand? Opposite of what he was teaching out there on the road, abroad in the overseas communities. Now you about to pay for their expenses. It's like a Nazarene vow these men are taking, but you about to pay for it. Dang, that's crazy, man. All right. The NLT. Go with them to the temple and join them in the purification ceremony, paying for them to have their heads ritually shaved. Then everyone will know that the rumors are all false and that you yourself observe the Jewish laws. Wow. ESV. Take these men, purify yourself along with them, and pay their expenses. Look at this. Look at this. Take these men and purify yourself along with them and pay their expenses so that they may shave their heads. Thus all will know that there is nothing in what they have been told about you, but that you yourself also live in observance of the law. They did. So basically, he made him look like a hypocrite in front of everybody. And then, Paul goes and do that, but then he don't finish because someone see him in the temple like, man, that's an old boy that teach everywhere. Them brought Greeks into the temple. He teach everywhere against the law. And then a riot broke out. You feel me? Verse 25. Here it is again right here. All right, look at this. As touching the Gentiles which believe, we have written and concluded that they observe no such thing, save only that they keep themselves from things offered to idols. See that? And from blood, and from strangled, and from fornication. All right, so those are the commands. Even when he went back up to Jerusalem years later, the commandment was still the same. This is what you to teach among the Gentiles. The question is, did Paul teach that? All right, when you go to 1 Corinthians 10, we went there the other day, but just, quick refresher. We went there the other day. You did. And it's almost like Paul taught his own version of that. That was the commandment that went forth, but look what was taught. All right. 1 Corinthians 10:25. Whatsoever is sold in the shambles that eat, asking no questions for conscience sake. Well, hold on. You got a command to teach to stay away from meat offered to idols, pollutions of idols, things offered to idols. All right. Well, surely in the meat markets, there is flesh that fall up under that category of meat offered to idols. He teaches whatsoever is sold in the shambles, eat it and don't ask no questions. Is that on one accord with what he was told, or is that against? All right, what y'all think? Is teaching whatsoever is sold in the shambles that eat and ask no questions for conscience sake, is that in agreement with abstain from meats offered to idols? Right? If it is, give me a 1. If Paul is teaching opposite of what James said, give me a 2. Let me see if y'all listen. Let's see. Let's see. I'll pull up a different version too, because some people act like that ain't what it is. I mean, that ain't what it means. And look, man, I understand. Trust me. Yeah, that's opposite, y'all. That's opposite. It is, you know what I mean? And a lot of times our people couldn't see. We couldn't see that there was conflict between James and Paul. Or Paul and the rest of the apostles. Because all the apostles was on board. All them that got the fiery tongues, they all was on board. They taught the same thing. Now look at this. This is the NLT version. So you may eat any meat that is sold in the marketplace without raising questions of conscience. Look at that. Look at that. NIV. Eat anything sold in the meat market without raising questions of conscience. CSB. Eat everything that is sold in the meat market without raising questions for the sake of conscience. Paul is on record teaching against what he was commanded to teach. I see twos in the chat. KN say 1. Oh, okay, that's the same. KN, so eat everything that is sold in the meat markets is the same as abstaining from meats offered to idols. That's the same, or is that different? Give me a 1 if it's the same. Give me a 2 if it's different. All right. Maybe that's a typo. Right on, bro. I figured that. Right. He teaching the opposite, y'all. That's just what it is, you know. And until you can see the conflict, you'll never be able to like dig deep and see what's really going on. All right. He's basically saying, I don't agree with what I was told to teach. I'm gonna tell y'all eat whatever is sold in the meat market. Don't ask no questions for conscience sake, because the earth is the Lord's. That's his excuse. But the earth always been the Most High's, and he's always had a problem. And he's always had a problem with us not separating what's holy from profane. Verse 26, for the earth is the Lord's and the fullness thereof. That's his reason for saying eat whatever sold at the meat markets. Don't ask no questions. All right. But surely they are selling meat that's offered to idols. Because what Gentile is slaughtering any of these so-called animals according to the Torah flesh laws? Nobody, baby. In my keep sweat voice. Nobody. Well, that's all offered to idols then. And that's if you're going by flesh laws. You know what I mean? I don't go by flesh. I don't eat flesh. So point being, it's impossible for you to even keep the Torah, other flesh laws, because it's not in place for you. to do it. There is no Hey, if y'all can see me, go ahead and give me a Yahoo up in the chat. If y'all can see me, bless up. Nehemiah, big homie, what's the word, my brother? Bless up, bless up. We at? Let me know if y'all can hear me and see me. Good to be in the land of the living, all right? All right. Y'all okay, we can be saying, yeah, you know, everybody be hating, all right? All right, let's get her done, y'all. Bang. All right. All right, all praise. Now look at this. If any of them that believe not bid you to a feast, and you be disposed to go whatsoever is set before you eat, asking no question for conscience sake. Let's go into this. Let's look at a different translation of it. All right, that's real dangerous. He's teaching in opposition to the overseas directive. You understand? Out of pride, a lot of brothers want to act like they don't see that. I don't see that. Look, I understand, bro. But you got to be, until you can be truthful with yourself, you'll be in bondage. You'll be in bondage, man. Be real with yourself. It's not the same. That's it. And it'll be like a big burden, a big old weight off your shoulders if you can, you know, if you can let it go. Let it go. You know what I mean? Let it go. Just be truthful. How can you ever be free? You should know the truth, and the truth shall make you what? Truth shall make you free. Well, if you are afraid of truth, then you don't deserve freedom. You deserve to be a slave. You deserve to be in bondage to whatever camp leader or congregation, assembly, or whatever. If you can't be truthful, if you can't be true with yourself, all right, that's different. He's saying something different. Right? And you got to get past that. You got to get past, oh, people just don't understand Paul. Bro, listen to me. I know his letters backwards and forward. You think I just forgot his letters? I know his letters backwards and forward. But until I saw the conflict, I could never, you know, see the whole matter. Once I saw the conflict, I said, oh, there it goes. There it is. There it is. We got something else going on here. If you can't be true with yourself, you deserve to be in bondage. You deserve it. All right? Now look at this. NKJV. If any of those who do not believe invite you to dinner and you desire to go eat whatever is set before you, asking no questions for conscience sake. Come on, man. All right? The directive is abstain from meats offered to idols. If someone who isn't a believer asks you home for dinner, accept the invitation if you want to. Eat whatever is offered to you without raising questions of conscience. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. If an unbeliever invites you to a meal and you want to go, eat whatever's put before you without raising questions of conscience. If one of the unbelievers invites you to dinner and you are disposed to go, eat whatever's set before you without raising any question on the ground of conscience. He's saying go against what you know is right. Because your conscience is going to be hitting hard. Like, hold on, you know, I'm a Nazarene, I eat a certain way. Can't eat that. He's saying go against that. Go against the voice of the Most High. Go against that voice of reasoning. Go against everything that you know is true. Come on, man. That don't make sense. All right. And many more. All right. But look, let's hit the next verse. Let's hit the next verse. All right. Okay, Paul's letters are very, very valuable. Very valuable. Because he's going to spill it all. He's going to tell you what he's thinking. 1 Corinthians 10 and 28. But if any man say unto you, this is offered in sacrifice unto idols, eat not for his sake that showed it, and for conscience sake. For the earth is the Lord's and the fullness thereof. We got a problem here. He's saying, but if they tell you it's offered to an idol, don't eat it for the sake of him that said it or showed it to you. Not don't eat it because you're not supposed to be eating flesh offered to idols anyway. Don't eat it for the sake of him that said it or showed it to you. And for your conscience. Look at that. And for conscience sake. Look at that. But y'all trip off this. Someone saying it's offered to an idol is not what make it offered to an idol. What make it offered to an idol is it has not been ritualistically slaughtered according to the Torah law concerning the flesh. That's what make it offered to devils or the idols. Yeah, Leviticus 17, y'all, 1 through 7. Also verse 13. And Leviticus 7, 11 through 18. Flesh dead over 2 days is an abomination. All that deep freezer meat you got, all that's abomination. And we ain't talking about pork, shrimp, crab, and lobsters either. Dead flesh is sacrificed. It's going to the Torah. So he's saying, but if they say it's offered in sacrifice to an idol, don't eat it for the sake of him that showed it or said it, and for conscience sake. Then he come again, for the earth is the Lord's and the fullness thereof. Look at that. Now look at this, verse 29. Conscience, I say, not your own. So not your own conscience, but of the other, the person that told you that it's offered to an idol. For why is my liberty, what liberty? Why is my liberty judged of another man's conscience? Look at this. What liberty? You look, the believer Mashiach don't got the liberty or freedom to eat flesh offered to idols. What you mean liberty? You don't got no liberty to be eating meat out the Gentile meat markets. What you mean? He's teaching opposite of what he was commanded. That's the whole point, y'all. All right. That's the whole point. All right, now look at this. All right. NKJV. But if anyone says to you, this was offered to idols, do not eat it for the sake of the one who told you. The only reason you don't eat the flesh that's offered to idols is for the sake of him who said it was offered to idols. Y'all, no. Now, you don't eat it because it's unlawful. It's against the Most High, not for the sake of him who said it. You understand? Like, it's a lot of double talking going on with Deuel. It is. It's a lot of double talking. But anyway, I think we understand that what he's saying is opposite of what was commanded. All right. If y'all understand that, give me a 3 up in the chat. Let's go show James is the Messiah's brother. One of his brothers. All right. Let's get it done. Nehemiah, big homie, bless up, man. All praises to the Most High for sending forth abundant healing towards your mother. You know, y'all definitely in our prayers, brother. Believe that, know that. All right, believe that, know that. All right, we're going to jump on down right here. Matthew 13, we're going to read 53 through 55. All right, James, who we read about in Acts, all right, is the Messiah's brother. That's your brother. That's who he left in charge. It ain't hard. Then we're going to read some of Robert Eisman's book, James, the brother of Jesus. All right. Y'all know how many people didn't even realize that the Messiah had brothers and sisters? Hold on, the Messiah got a brother. Like, that's how indoctrinated we are, man. You dig? KN say these scriptures that Paul taught about eating what's in the market and being invited to eat kept me going back and forth between the Old and New Testament on what to really do. Exactly. Exactly, bro. You gotta be real with yourself. Like, he's saying something different. It keeps you torn. It keeps you going back. Like, what am I supposed to do then? All right. Matthew 13 and 53. And it came to pass that when the Messiah had finished these parables, he departed thence. And when he was come into his own country, he taught them in their synagogue, insomuch that they were astonished and said, whence have this man this wisdom and these mighty works? 55. Is not this the carpenter's son? Is not his mother called Miriam or Mary, and his brethren James and Joseph and Simon and Jude or Judas? And his sisters, are they not all with us? Whence then have this man all these things? Look at that. Y'all see that? There's five boys out of this family. Messiah, James, Joseph, Simon, and Jude, the book right before Revelations. Look at that. It's 5 boys. And I believe it was 2 daughters, 2 girls, Lydia and Asia. Now look at that. James is his brother. The same James Peter had to check in with when he got divinely delivered out of jail. The same James that stood up in the Jerusalem Council in Acts 15 and gave a judgment, gave a sentence to Paul on what to teach amongst the Gentiles. The same James, when Paul came back to Jerusalem 14 years later, taxed him, put him under a Nazarite vow and taxed him, and then told him again, Gentiles are to stay away from things offered to idols. That very same James is the Messiah's brother. He's the one that was left in charge of the Messiah's movement. All right. No, I know that hurt, because a lot of us never realized it. You feel me? And a lot of these so-called congregation and camp leaders know what we're saying is true. They just don't want to switch up. They want to switch up. Afraid to lose. You can't be afraid to lose in this, right? You got to be about truth. And if you're not about complete truth, then guess what? You deserve to be a slave. You deserve that. Scared to stand up and say what it is. Now look at this. Now look at this. Mark 6, 1 through 3. And he went out from thence and came into his own country, and his disciples followed him. And when the Shabbat day was come, he began to teach in the synagogue, and many hearing him were astonished, saying, for whence have this man these things? And what wisdom is this which is given unto him, that even such mighty works are wrought by his hands? Is not this the carpenter, the son of Mary, the brother of James and Joseph, and of Yahudah and of Shimon? And are not his sisters here with us? And they were offended at him. Look at this. Yeah. Off Paul's own mouth, though. Look at this. Go jump over to Galatians. Yeah, the Messiah's movement was hijacked. They destroyed it with teaching. They introduced the 13th apostle into the equation. And by the time the New Testament was considered the New Testament, 300 years after the Messiah's death, when they decided to stamp something called the New Testament, which was writings from the first century and all that, when they had the votes and all that, when the Romans, when the so-called councils were being held, the Roman emperors, when they had, when they did their little judgments, the majority of what you call today the New Testament was stamped the New Testament by various Roman councils. It's a collection of letters and things that were written around the 1st and 2nd century, way before their time. And they decided to what? The majority of what you call the New Testament today was decided upon by your enemies, Romans. All right. And of course, the majority of that, they roll with Paul, who had just so happened to have Roman citizenship, who just so happened to be related to the Herodians, the Herodians. What you got stamped today as the New Testament, y'all. And I'm not saying you can't get jewels out of it. I ain't saying don't read it, but the truth is the truth. There was no New Testament to 300-some years after the Messiah's death. There was no New Testament. I'm talking about that cohesive body of work. I'm talking about as a collective, something stamped New Testament. These 27 books right here are the New Testament. All right? That was collected under the authority of the Roman Emperor Constantine, started by him. And councils were held to decide what would be considered canonical, authorized, and what would be considered apocryphal or heretical. Yeah. Yeah. So whatever promotes the agenda of Rome, you understand, and the powers that be at the time, that's what was stamped the New Testament. That's it. I mean, that's it. It's what it is. That don't mean, y'all, you can't get righteousness about of it or none of that. But you understand, it's more to the Messiah's movement than what your enemy gave you. That's my point. There's more to the Messiah's movement, his teachings, and all that than what your enemy decided to call the New Testament. That's what I'm saying. Way more to it. All right. And look, I still teach out the Bible. Absolutely. Plenty of jewels and wisdom you can get out of the Bible. Absolutely. Oh, they're New Testament, but you gotta be real with yourself, though. All right. Who authorized the collections of all the writings that were going around since the 1st century? Who stamped it, the New Testament? Who called it that? Because what we reading at this time, it wasn't nothing but the Torah. It's just what it is, y'all. The New Testament was not FedEx from the throne of heaven to you. The Bible was not FedEx from the throne of heaven and just magically appeared on earth. No, that ain't what happened. All right? You ain't got to be afraid to read it either. You understand? You ain't got to be afraid. Study history. Get into it. Read the prologues and all that. All right? Y'all, that don't mean Messiah didn't exist. Usually I'm still messianic to the bone gristle. Absolutely. Just the concept of Mashiach alone make all the sense in the world to me. It makes sense. Perfection. It makes sense. The embodiment of the Most High Spirit on earth. That makes all the sense in the world to me. All right. Galatians 1:19. But other the apostles saw I none, save James, the Lord's brother. Right out of Paul's mouth. See that? Right out of Paul's mouth. James is the Lord's brother. James is an apostle, even according to Paul. He's an apostle when he got the authority. You see that? Oh, just what it is. All right. So I want to show that. All right. I want to show that. I want to show that, yeah, man, you know, it's through history. Even it's flashes of it in your Bible. James the Just, YAH'KI, the Messiah's biological brother, is and was the leader over his movement after he left. He's the one he left in charge. Absolutely. And even Peter, who he said he built his church on and get it, and the gates of hell will never prevail, and he got the keys to the kingdom. Even Peter had to report into him. All right. If you understand that so far, give me a Yahoo up in the chat. All right. Now, let me look up something real quick. Hit stop share. All right. All right. And let's go ahead and keep it moving real quick. All right. Before we get into the book, we're going to get into this today. All right. Read a little bit of this and then we'll finish some more of it tomorrow. All right. Or if we don't get into it today, we'll just dive hard into it tomorrow. It's all good, y'all. The Most High's will, okay? All right, now, let's get into this. Let me show y'all something. I need to pull this up. Y'all bear with me. All right, wow. Pull something else up, too. I want to show y'all something. Y'all be think y'all bro just be making this stuff up. You know what I mean? I get that from a lot of my enemies. Y'all making that stuff up. We ain't making nothing up, man. We ain't making nothing up, brother. Easily verified. Like you see, we've been in the Bible the whole time, right? So we can kill the narrative that honor and humility don't teach out the Bible no more. That's also a lie. Men just be wanting to lie all the time, man. I don't be getting it. What y'all lying about it. All right. Got a different perspective. That's it. It causes you to search history and look at things from a historical point of view. That's it. Ain't nothing to be offended about, though. What you offended for? All right. All right. What you offended for? Ain't nothing to be offended about. Even if you call yourself an op or an enemy. We send love towards you. It's all good. All right, let this load up real quick. All right, let me show y'all this in the Clementine homilies real quick. All right, been in the Bible the whole time so far. But you know what's crazy? People act like we haven't been in the Bible. I ain't reading out the Bible. What we just been reading out of? We've been reading out the Bible, man. Oh, yeah, I'm letting that load up. Once it do, I'll come back to it. Oh, there it go. Once it do, I'll come on back to it. All right, y'all. All right, so we got the homilies. Take that off right there. Yeah. All right, so what I want to do real quick is show y'all some. Some of y'all already know this. All right, some of y'all don't. But either way, it's all love. Love is love. All right. All right, that's that around there. Let me share screen real quick. We get to it, all right? Right. Since when can we have a perspective? Exactly. Man. And look, everybody know that you bump into people who have a different perspective when it comes down to your belief and when it comes down to the scriptures. There is not one Hebrew Israelite in this world that sees the same thing and agree totally in every concept or every scripture. You see things different. That's just the truth. You can't admit that, then you deserve to be in bondage. You deserve it. You deserve it. Right, I got brothers that I dearly beloved, brothers and sisters, that we don't, there's certain things we don't see the same. And that's okay. It's not that y'all ready to have a stroke around here. Like, relax, man. All right, y'all, this is the Clementine homilies. For y'all that don't know, consider the journal of Peter himself. All right, 1st century document. All right. And as you read through this, what you'll notice is that Peter, what James told Paul to teach among the Gentiles, Peter taught that. Peter taught what James stood up and said in the book of Acts. Peter taught that. All right. Let me blow this up for y'all. All right. You know, y'all can see that. This right here is Peter's epistle. I don't know why they keep doing that. Trying to blow it up a little more for y'all right there. I don't know why they keep doing that. Y'all bear with me. This computer jamming up. Hold on. Almost there. Let's keep jamming up on me. Oh, okay, I can go down like that. All right, good. Gotcha. Bear with me, family. This deal be tripping. This deal on up. Let that deal load up. All right, here we go. That's work. That's work. That's work. Here we go. Bye. Move it over a little bit for y'all. Move it up. Load up some more. Now, anybody that's new looking, make sure you can see. All right, let me know if y'all can see that. I might go up one more so I don't mess up on me. All right, that's cool right there. Come on, man. I need to go down one. All right, I'm going to leave it right there. All right, this is the epistle of Peter to James. All right, the same James we've been reading about. It says, Peter to James, the Lord and Bishop. Look at this. The master and bishop of the Holy Church, under the Father of all, through Yahshua the Messiah, which is peace always. Look at that. So this is Peter's letter that go back to the 1st century, y'all. All right. That all the church historians. So this was around when they decided to vote on what will be considered the New Testament and what wouldn't be considered the New Testament. And this didn't make it in your Bible. Why wouldn't Peter's letter to James be in your Bible? Who decided that it was, apocryphal? It was heretical. It wasn't canonical because it wasn't your people. We didn't decide that. Who decided? All right. Peter to James, the master and bishop of the Holy Church, under the Father of all, through Yahushua HaMashiach, which is peace always. All right. So y'all, we got plenty of witnesses. Acts 12, Peter has to check in with James, correct? Acts 15, James stands up and gives Paul an order on what to teach amongst the Gentiles. Acts 21, Paul comes back to Jerusalem. And guess what? He stands up and gives what? Another commandment on what he's to teach amongst the Gentiles. All right. He also make him pay for a Nazarite vow, not only for himself, but for others. He put a tax on him because he heard he'd been out there teaching sideways. All right. This very same James, y'all, is the Messiah's brother biologically. Went to Matthew 13, 53 through 55, Mark 6, 1 through 3. James is his brother. In history, he's called James the Just. And we see he's standing up giving judgments, giving a sentence, meaning he's in charge. And he got thousands of believing Yahudim and his brothers at his command. This is the same James right here. And he commands Paul to teach among the Gentiles to stay away from meat offered to idols. Paul says whatever sold in the meat market is eaten, don't ask no questions. It's not the same. He's teaching openly against the overseas directive that James gave. James is the master and bishop of the Holy Church, meaning every church established in the name of his brother, he has the authority over. Look at that. You got to deal with that. Got to deal with that. All right. Now, Clement knew it. And Clement was a Gentile. So it ain't like Gentiles couldn't be a part of what it is. They just have to come up under the same measure of discipline. They don't get no special, you know what I mean, no special attention. You know what I mean? But they don't get, you know, they can do what they want to do, and only the Israelites got to keep it. If you want to follow the Messiah of Nazareth, you got to come up under the same measure of discipline. That applied to the believing Yahudim, that applied to regular Gentiles, that even applied to Israelites who were living as Gentiles. You want to follow Mashiach? This is the discipline. And as you see, they got down there a doctrine of reserve. All right. Blow it up some more for y'all. Y'all can see that. Just in case any naysayer think we playing. All right. Look at that. James is the one in charge. And it's like what he taught got swept up under the rug and blown out of history. Thank the Most High in these last hours, he allowed his Nazarene spirit to be resurrected in his earth. All praises. All praises. We definitely the right ones because we don't care nothing about what nobody got to say. They can say whatever they want. All right. We're going to send love at you. You be all right. You be all right. All right, now let's go over to Clement. Clement wrote a letter to James too. We're going over there. Just real quick, y'all. Show y'all what it is. All right. See if I can. Just type it in like that. See if they get it to me. Here it is, right here. All right. Same that deal. Man, this deal be tripping, man. Nah, that's too much. I'll show y'all that. Next, we going over here to Clement's letter. Nah, it's going backwards, y'all. Show y'all that real quick. All right. Now look at this. Clement writes a letter because Clement was traveling with Peter all them years, and James told him, make sure you keep an account of what Peter is teaching and send me that. And right after that, you know, Peter received the crown of martyrdom. All right. Clement to James. Look at this. Clement to James, the Lord or Master and the Bishop of Bishops, who rules Jerusalem, the holy church of the Hebrews, and the churches everywhere. And the churches everywhere. Excellently founded by the providence of Yah, with the elders and deacons and the rest of the brethren. peace be always. Clement, the Gentile, admits that James is the master and bishop, right, who rules Jerusalem, which is the headquarters of the movement, the Holy Church. All right. The Holy Church of the Hebrews and all the churches everywhere. And he's saying James is excellently founded by the providence of Yah, with the elders and deacons and the rest of the brethren. Peace be always. Look at that. Look at that. Y'all witness after witness. Y'all, there's about 5, 6, 7 witnesses. 5, 6, 7 witnesses. All right. So it is what it is. All right. Ain't nothing to get mad about. If you don't agree, you just don't agree. It's all good. It's all good. We ain't mad at shit up. All right. Now, let's watch this. Pull something up for y'all. See if this come on up for me. Let me know if y'all see that. Again, this is what we're going over, so y'all can see. All right. We went over some of this in the last class. Nazarene edition 42 is 43. All right. Robert Eisenman, James, the brother of Jesus in the Dead Sea Scrolls, the historical James, Paul the enemy, and Yeshua's brothers as apostles. Y'all, I'm going to do a class over there real soon. It's going to blow your mind. When we go back into some of them lists of them disciples, you're going to be like, dang, that's crazy. The whole family was revolutionary, from his cousin John the Baptist down to his disciples. Man, it's wild. You know, they got you thinking that none of his family dealt with him. That ain't true. It's not true. Based on history, it's not true, should I say. All right. All right, so we got that. All right. Page 92 is where chapter 11 started. I'm going to show y'all that. All right. All right, it's chapter 11 we going into. We already went into some of this already in the last class, all right? Chapter 11. James's vegetarianism. Uh-oh. You mean tell me the leader of the Nazarene movement was plant-based? Are you serious? Are you serious? James's vegetarianism, abstention from blood and consuming no wine. Bro was very, 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 very serious. All right. I'm just going to read the first paragraph of this and we're going to jump on over. All right, because we did some of this last class. James's Nazaretism, meaning he was a Nazarite, y'all. All right. Serious vibe. James's Nazaretism, or holiness from his mother's womb, is not the only claim reversed in Paul's discussions, whereas James clearly is said to abstain from eating meat. Look at that. James clearly is said to abstain from eating flesh. Yeah, because it's all offered to idols or devils if it ain't ritualistically slaughtered according to the Torah. And I'm here to tell you, you don't got nothing in place for it to be ritualistically slaughtered, so you shouldn't be eating flesh. Robert Eisenman understands it. That's why when you read, he like, look, James clearly is said to abstain from eating meat. Paul emphasizes its consumption. As in 1 Corinthians 10 and 25, eat everything that is sold in the marketplace. Y'all, we just read that. We just read that. Stephanie Randall, that initiation is for teachers. It ain't just for anybody that just want to dedicate their vessels completely over to the Most High. That's for those that are teaching. That's like a 6-year initiation period. You know what I mean? But that's for the teachers. Everybody in the teacher. All right. Look at this. Whereas James clearly said to abstain from eating meat, Paul emphasizes its consumption, as in 1 Corinthians 10 and 25. Eat everything that is sold in the marketplace. There is no need to raise questions of conscience. Paul expresses this position in chapters 6 through 10 of 1 Corinthians, where he is discussing one of the categories of James's directives to overseas communities, the prohibition on things sacrificed to idols. 1 Corinthians 8:1, 8:10, and 10:28. We just read it. The basic answer Paul gives to all James's directives is, all things are lawful for me. All things are lawful for me. That's 1 Corinthians 6:12 and 1 Corinthians 10:23. Now he's responding to James's overseas orders and standing on and putting it on record that he don't agree with it. All things are lawful for me, even though not all things profit, or as he puts it in 1 Corinthians 8:1, build up. All right. So y'all check that out right there. Again, we went over that entire page right there last class. I'm gonna jump on up for time's sake though. All right. We're just gonna get through a little bit of this today. We're gonna eat the whole thing tomorrow. All right, Most High willing, Most High said the same. All right. All right, we're gonna jump over to page 94. All right. All right. We went over some of this too. All right. I just want to show this before we go forward. We ain't gonna read the whole thing. I just want to show this too. When I said earlier about how the Maccabees and them, they waged their war against the Greeks on plants. That was a Genesis 1:29 revolution. And they were successful. And they were invoking the presence of the Most High, and the heavens were showing up to fight for them brothers. Fight for them brothers and sisters. See that? But this is what this is called here. This is called pollution in the wilderness camps. All right. Similar concerns are in evidence at Qumran. Qumran, y'all, is the Dead Sea, where they found the Dead Sea Scrolls, which is history dug up out of the earth. All right. Similar concerns are in evidence at Qumran, at least where the issues of gifts and sacrifices in the temple is concerned. John the Baptist, even in the fragmented and garbled accounts that have come down to us, would seem to have had tendencies in this direction. The problem in John the Baptist's case is the idea that he ate locusts or bugs. If he did, he probably would not have survived very long. Luke omits this, and there is little about it in translation. One suggestion is that John ate carobs. There have been others. Epiphanius, I got his book too, goes back to like the 300s and 400s, y'all. Another church historian. All right. Epiphanius, in preserving what he calls the Ebionite gospel, y'all, that's the gospel of the Nazarenes, or the true gospel of the Hebrews. All right. Preserving what he calls the Ebionite gospel, rails against the passage. They're claiming John ate wild honey and manna like vegetarian cakes dipped in oil. Absolutely. Absolutely. Right? The older gospel says that John the Baptist was plant-based as well. All right. Other than that, you're saying that he was eating bugs. But if he was eating the fruit off the locust tree, or if he was eating carob cakes and the fruit off the locust tree, you know what I mean? I got bark from the locust tree, actually. I make tea out of it. It's excellent. All right. Again, that gospel is older than the synoptic gospels that we have in our Bible. You know what I mean? It's just true. All right. In any event, John would have been one of these wilderness-dwelling, vegetable-eating persons Josephus regards as either imposters, magicians, or deceivers, fomenting revolt under the guise of religious innovation. Josephus says as much in his description of John in the Antiquities, though his treatment of John is much gentler than his normal ones. This is also the inference to be drawn from Luke's testimony, including the note about John's being holy from his mother's womb. As it turns out, one of the first of these vegetarian insurgents or revolutionaries, of these vegetarian insurgent or subversive leaders was Judah Maccabee himself. 2 Maccabees 5:27, describing the founding moment of Judas's revolutionary activities, also in the wilderness. And 167 BCE has this to say: Judas, called Maccabeus, however, with about 9 others, withdrew into the wilderness and lived like wild animals in the hills with his companions, eating nothing but wild plants to avoid contracting defilement. Look at that. Look at that. You mean to tell me they didn't have access to lamb in Israel? You mean to tell me the only flesh in Israel when the Greeks was dominating was pig meat? No, what they knew was if the temple is gone or if the altar is profane, then you can't eat, lawfully speaking, according to the Torah, you can't eat no type of flesh because the flesh has to be slain according to the Torah law of processing. Well, that's it. Leviticus 17, Jack, verse 1 through 7. Throw verse 13 in there as well about the blood and how you got to pour the blood out and cover it with the dust. And the flesh can't be dead no more than 2 days or it's an abomination. Well, that's it. Leviticus 7, 11 through 18. Read them and weep. So in the case of the Maccabees, they didn't have an altar. Temple's under attack. Well, guess what? We can't lawfully even eat flesh then. So you mean to tell me that was a 3.5-year war waged on herbs, y'all, vegetables, plants? See that? But Paul turned around and say he that eat herbs is weak. Well, you wouldn't have told that brother that. Because they waged war, a successful war against them Greeks for 3.5 years, y'all, on herbs, on vegetables. Because when the temple is gone or if the altar is profane, you can't lawfully slay no flesh. All right? And how are we telling the brothers and sisters in these hours? How is you eating flesh? Talking about you eating lawful flesh and keeping the dietary laws. Where your Levite at? Where your temple at? Where your tabernacle? Where your altar? Where the blood on the altar? Where the burnt fat at? How old is that dead flesh? Oh man, that don't matter. Christ died. Christ was dead in Acts 15 too. And the command still was abstain from meats offered to idols. Meaning that law still is in play. We got an example, y'all. The 2 Maccabees 5 and 27. Because the altar was defiled and the temple was under attack, no flesh can be eaten. Oh, well, the temple been gone for over 2,000 years. Ain't no altar. How is you eating any flesh? Talking about you eating lawful, clean meat. How? All that meat been dead longer than 2 days. It's abomination. How? See, these brothers understood Torah better than us. And they understood if the altar is profane, you can't eat flesh. Bag drop. Bag drop. Ooh-wee. For 2 Maccabees, Judas is legitimate successor to the previous high priestly line, which was destroyed by a foreign power. In this instance, the Seleucid heirs of Alexander the Great. Judas is a kind of messianic priest king of the kind Yahshua is presented as being in later literature. This probably explains Judas' vegetarianism. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Y'all see that? Oh, this probably explains Judah Maccabees' vegetarianism. Wow. As it does John the Baptist. If we see John in the succession to Judas as an insurgent, these brothers was revolutionaries. Brothers was radical, totally against the status quo. Prophet-like leader demanding a priesthood of greater purity, devoid of pollution by foreigners. For Judah, the temple has been polluted. The sacrifice in the temple has been polluted, then halted. In the time of John the Baptist, the zealots, James, and Qumran, this will be seen as being because of the acceptance of gifts and sacrifices on behalf of or by Gentiles in the temple. Ooh-wee. Ooh-wee. Something of this even emerged in the account of Paul's unceremonious ejection from the temple after James imposes the Nazarite-style penance upon him in Acts 21, 23 through 24. We just read that. This episode connects temple pollution to the admission of Gentiles in the temple. It does. They ejected him right up out of there. He has brought Greeks into the temple and polluted his holy place. Acts 21, 28. A matter very much argued over in this period as the erection of inscribed stone warning markers in the temple barring foreigners from the temple on pain of death verifies. 2 of these have since been found. All right. So again, last class, we went more into that. Y'all check that out when y'all get a chance. It's page 94. All right. Oh, wait. Somebody gonna be mad, but it's all good. All right. We left off here last time. I heard y'all going into Noah. Read a little bit of this and we're gonna close out. We just came in to give y'all a little something this evening. I want to start early too. All right. Now look at it. The first Zadik, Noah, and being called by name. Zadik, y'all, is another way to say righteous. So it's saying the first righteous, Noah, and being called by name. Both vegetarianism and the Zadik, or the righteous ideal, go back to the Noah story in Genesis. In this episode, Noah is described as righteous and perfect in his generation. And because of this, and for Jewish mystical ideology ever after, he is the first redeemer of mankind. Not only is Noah the first Zadik, but the scriptural warrant for a second ideology is also provided: perfection. This is very often missing from rabbinic ideology, but it is a concept Yahshua is pictured as teaching in the Sermon on the Mount in Matthew. Therefore, be perfect as your Father in heaven is perfect. Matthew 5:48. All right. Earlier, YAHWH'S portrayed as saying this: unless your righteousness exceeds that of the scribes and Pharisees, you shall in no wise enter the kingdom of heaven. Coupled with the James-like, and in this case, anti-Pauline condemnation: whosoever shall break the least one of these commandments and teach men to do so shall be called least in the kingdom of heavens. Matthew 5:19-20. Noah saves mankind because of his righteousness and perfection, and all mankind descends from him. At least in the mythology of Genesis, the bibliophiles of the Second Temple period seem to have been so enamored of. The book of Ecclesiastes is too called Ben Sirach, or the book of Sirach, after its author, in its famous enumeration of the pious men. Anshe Hesed presents Noah as the first Zadik, or the first righteous. That's the book of Sirach 44:17. This praise includes Phineas and his zeal for the Most High, and ends, at least in the Hebrew version, with an evocation of the sons of Zadok. To explain what was meant by perfect with regard to Noah, rabbinic literature, look at this, y'all. Rabbinic literature contended that he was born circumcised. Ain't that crazy? That's some rabbinic literature. Not only does this show the high regard in which he was held and primitive attempts to wrestle with the perfection ideology, but not even Christianity went so far as to make such claims for the Messiah. A successor among these primordial righteous ones who are presented in the literature as supernatural redeemer figures. All right. Noah, of course, is also a very important figure in Qumran literature. So amongst the Dead Sea Scrolls, Noah is very important, as he is in all apocalyptic literature, apocryphal or sectarian. The Damascus document, y'all Google that and start reading through that as part of the Dead Sea Scrolls. All right. The Damascus document, in introducing this view of pre-existence, foreknowledge, and predestination, puts the proposition as follows. Let me go to the next one, y'all. All right, that was page 95. Let me go to the next one. All right, and pull 96 up. Oh, we cooking now. All right, we cooking now. As follows: he, the Most High, knew their works before they were created, and he hated their generations. And he knew the years of their standing and the number and the meaning of their errors for all eternal being and existences, until that which would come in their errors for all the years of eternity. And in all of them, he raised for himself men called by name, that a remnant might survive in the land and fill the face of the earth with their seed. And he made known to them his Holy Spirit. Y'all, this is in the Dead Sea Scrolls, the Damascus document. And he made known to them his Holy Spirit by the hand of his Messiah. And he, it is truth. And in the correct exposition of his name, their names ought to be found. And those whom he hates, he leads astray. And now, my sons, listen to me, and I will uncover your eyes that you may see and understand the works of the Most High. He that has eyes, let him see in gospel formulation, in order to choose that which pleases him, and reject that which he hates, in order to walk perfectly in all his ways. That's right. They were caught in them, the nets or sins, because they did not keep the commandments of Yah. All flesh on dry land perish. They were as though they had never been, because they did their own will. Look at that. They were as though they had never been, because they did their own will and did not keep the commandments of their maker. Look at that. There is so much in these lines that is relevant to a discussion of the differences between Paul and James. Look at that. Look at that. There is so much in these lines that is relevant to a discussion of the differences between Paul and James. But for the purpose of economy, one should note the allusion to the Holy Spirit being revealed by the hand of his Messiah, and the strong emphasis on both keeping and doing the commandments. You see that? Holy Spirit revealed by Mashiach, keep the covenant. We keep the covenant as taught by Mashiach. All right? Because obviously the way he taught Torah was different than the men of his day. They would have never killed him. All right? Now look at this. This is also strong in the letter of James, as it is in Qumran literature. When it comes to defining what is meant by a true son of the righteous, or a true son of Zadok, the definition of this term, aside from the more eschatological one that follows in the Damascus document. Y'all, eschatology is the study of the end time. So this saying, like in the Dead Sea Scrolls, there's a lot of apocalyptic, end time verbiage, you know what I mean? So the definition of this term, aside from the more eschatological one that follows in the Damascus document, provided by the community rule, is the keepers of the covenant. Shomrei HaBrit. That's how you say it in Hebrew. Keepers of the covenant. Sure about this, y'all. This is the synonym for Nazarene HaBrit. Again, the keepers or observers of the covenant. In both contexts, the Nazarene or the Nazarenes are keepers of the covenant. Look at that. Look at that. Keepers of the covenant. The exact opposite of what we now, after 2,000 years of Paul's dogma, consider Nazarenes or followers of the Messiah, the Nazarene, to be. Yeah. After 2 millennia or 2,000 years of Paul's letters being the dominant force in the New Testament, when you hear about a Nazarene, you understand, you don't think of them as this, the strict, disciplined brothers and sisters who don't eat flesh, who believe in keeping the covenant. Right? But y'all, that's originally what it was, though. You understand? That's originally what it was. You feel me? The Torah as taught by Mashiach, the Messiah, who the Most High said he was going to put his words in his mouth, according to the book of Deuteronomy. You see that? See, what you think of a Nazarene today is, just a follower of Jesus of Nazareth. Oh, okay. So what does that entail? You understand? And a lot of people, man, a lot of people believe that you ain't got to keep the commandments behind it. You ain't got to keep the law. Right? And again, y'all, when I say law, I'm talking about law as taught by Mashiach. Because we know we got lying scribes and all that out there. And the scribes were the Messiah's main enemies. Why would they, the ones given the authority to write down the precepts and all that of the Torah, be in opposition to what the Messiah was teaching? Because what he taught was opposite of what they wrote down. In many instances, absolutely. You understand? Now, after 2,000 years of, Paul's letters being the dominant force on what you call the New Testament, you don't understand what a Nazarene entails or what a Nazarene is. All right, Holy Spirit revealed by his Messiah to those who Nazarene keepers or observe the covenant. Nazarene is where you get the Nazarenes. Ooh, wee. I know somebody mad now. All right, now look at this. All of this is very esoteric, but one thing the Damascus document is doing in these introductory columns is describing just what a true son of Zadok, a true son of the righteous is, and what he is conceived of as doing. Therefore, the document is often referred to as the Zadokite document, which, were it not for another of its esotericisms, the new covenant in the land of Damascus might be a better name for it. In the Zohar, where the passage from Proverbs about the Zadik or the righteous, the pillar of the world, is being analyzed, Noah is described as acting as a true copy of the heavenly ideal, an embodiment of the world's covenant of peace. Ben Sirach, or the book of Sirach, vouchsafes this Noahic covenant of peace to the archetypal embodiment of the zealot high priest, Phinehas, as well as to his descendants, including the later sons of Zadok. Whatever one might think of the historical roots of the Zohar in the 13th century Spain, statements of this kind certainly are instructive and seem to hark back to an earlier time, especially in the light of the Dead Sea Scrolls. The significance of these words is amplified in the section called Phinehas, towards the end of the Zohar, where its author shows familiarity with the suffering Zadik ideology. When the Most High desires to send healing to the earth, he smites one righteous one with suffering to make atonement, and sometimes all his days are passed in suffering to protect the people. Statements like this have a peculiar presence, protection of the people. For instance, appears in the passages Eusebius cites from Escapism, where James the Zadik nature is being delineated. All right, now Escapism goes back to the 1st century. I got all those books: Eusebius, Epiphanius, Escapism, all of it. All right. 1 Peter, for instance, too, is very much concerned with the idea of suffering for righteousness' sake. That's 1 Peter 2:19 through chapter 3 and 14. It also invokes Noah and the flood, which it identifies with. Let me go to the next page. Gotcha. 1 second, which it identifies with. All right. Oh, God, wow, appreciate it. All right, which identifies with being saved by water. Imagery it will then use to propound the new Christian version of the ideal of baptism. But this letter also knows the language of being foreknown before the foundation of the world, but manifested at the last times. All right. That's 1 Peter 1:20. The precious cornerstone, 1 Peter 2:7. The name of Christ, 1 Peter 4:19. Make it perfect, 1 Peter 5:10. And the living stones being built up into a spiritual house, a holy priesthood to offer spiritual sacrifices pleasing to Yah, 1 Peter 2:5. Like the suffering Zadik idea in the Zohar above, this is paralleled almost word for word. What about this, y'all? Almost word for word in the language of spiritualized atonement and temple applied to the council of the community and the community rule at Qumran, back to the Dead Sea Scrolls. He's saying what Peter is saying in 1 Peter can be found in the Dead Sea Scrolls, a section called the community rule. Look at that. So y'all, that's how we know we dealing with Nazarenes and Essenes, because the Essenes is the Qumran community. That's the Essenes. All right. And what they dug out of the earth is what? Vouching or in one accord with what was already considered in the Bible in 1 Peter. Well, y'all, that's Essene language then. You understand that? That's Nazarene talk. You feel me? Like the suffering Zadik ID in the Zohar, this is parallel almost word for word. I read this. Finally, 1 Peter 5:8 talks about the enemy in terms of his swallowing up. Language absolutely fundamental at Qumran, and the description of the destruction of the righteous teacher there not only does mention of the Zadik ideal and Noah being an embodiment of the world's covenant of peace, link up with the primal Adam or secret man ideology in Ebionite tradition. But as these move west, they become fixed in the more Hellenistic notion of the Christ. I mean, they Hellenized the Messiah's teachings and, you know, added all type of Greek and Roman customs. And when we're going to stop right there for the day, we're going to get into this tomorrow, the abstention from blood, and, you know, go more into the Damascus document and deal with the Dead Sea Scrolls and all that, and jump right back into this. All right. I just want to come on tonight and share some of these things with y'all. All right. And that's page 97 right there. We got to go all the way up to page 101. We're going to get some of that tomorrow if it be the Most High's will. Hallelujah. You dig? All right, let me stop the screen real quick. All right, family, all praises, glory, and honor to the Most High power, honor, creator, and possessor, forever live as anointed, beloved Son. All right, cutting up. Love y'all for being able to drop what you were taught and come with the truth, no matter what nobody thinks but the Father. That's right, huh? You ain't worried about what nobody got to say. They be all right. They be all right. We love you. We love you indeed. We love you enough to tell you, hey, look, we've been going the wrong way. Turn around. Right. Hallelujah, my beloved sister Lisa Edwards. All praises, all praise. Yeah, y'all don't stop. Never will. You understand? To the Most High call us out the trenches. We down here getting it done. You know, we love you enough to tell you, right? Like, level up. Don't level up. Get better. Be better. You understand? Every last one of you brothers and sisters are sons and daughters of the Most High. All right? The Most High is divine. All right? He gave us the perfect example. He raised up his son in the midst of his brethren. You understand? We got the examples. All right? But, you know, there's levels to this. There's the deeper understandings that come forth. You understand? And if you know, really down for dedicating everything that you are made of over to the Almighty, then you're going to see great things. All right? As for me, like, I know, like, I've been witnessing, look, these prayers are more powerful. Thoughts are more quicker. Thoughts are more clear. You understand? Y'all, when certain things go down and we all collectively come together and pray, hey, we got motion, like major league motion. You understand? And I would, you know, propose, because our bodies are not a graveyard of dead flesh anymore. Absolutely. Absolutely. You understand? The challenge was put out, and, you know, a lot of people got offended and fell back. You know, they'll be all right. A lot of you brothers and sisters was like, look, I'm down. Let's get it. And I know you feel better. I know you feel better. I know you got way more energy. I know you don't stank anymore. I know how I feel. I know how I feel. Make sure you brothers and sisters are exercising too. You understand? Make sure you exercise. Make sure you exercise. Make sure you're meditating every day too. Meditating. You understand? You should be breathing in the fresh air of the Most High every day. Make sure you're getting that breath work in. You understand? Meditate. All right? Pray for your enemies, man. I know it's hard, but you feel a lot better. It's like a weight off your shoulder. Send peace and love toward their hearts and minds. Crush that spirit of hate that they got with the spirit of love. Send it right to them. Send it right to them. It'll crush that hateful, angry spirit they got on them. And you'll feel a lot better. Feel a lot better. It's like a weight off your shoulder. You ain't playing out an evil scenario in your mind if you see somebody and let that go. Let that go. Pray for your enemies. Right? There are a lot of people praying against us, call themselves cursing us and praying. Look, we break all that. We break it and terminate it by the eternal spirit of the Most High. And we send it back to the pits of darkness where it belongs. Know that. Right? You hate us, we love you. You curse us, we bless you. You understand? And you're gonna feel so much better behind it. You're like, oh, okay. And we got motion. Heating up, so feeling all that electricity flowing through. You're like, oh, okay. You know, hey, I ask the Most High to have mercy on my enemies. And mercy on them. Right? Forgive them, Father. They don't know what they're doing. You know? Yeah, lay it not to their charge. I send forth the spirit of love and peace into their hearts and their minds. I pray they get what they're looking for. You see? That's spiritual warfare, y'all. Spiritual warfare. Prayers be getting answered quick. Bow. Sicknesses be getting canceled quick. Like, all praise to the Most High. We all touched and agreed to see Joseph Evans, you know what I mean, his wife and their unborn child. We saying the baby was going to be born with Down syndrome. We ain't hearing that. We ain't hearing that. We all came together. We touched and agreed, sent that forth. You understand? And in mine already was surrounded with the answer. Right? When you praying, be surrounded with your answer. Pray as if it's now. You understand? In my mind, I imagine the phone call coming through and everything already. And it came through. Doctors baffled, HERBAL. Yeah, I know. All praise. Doctors baffled. They don't know how everything normal. They don't know what we do. Right? Now, your body's not a graveyard of dead flesh anymore. You understand? Shouldn't be eating it anyway. Let it go. Let it go and live. That's right. Yep. Get you some of them supplements. That B12, absolutely, big dog. Absolutely. Absolutely. You know, take your sea moss too. Your Irish moss, your sea moss and all that. Get all them minerals and vitamins you need up in you. You dig? Ooh-wee. Find yourself getting too, little. Make sure you're eating your chickpeas and, all that stuff to keep a little weight on it. You understand? Chickpeas and ask Ima. Ima know what you're supposed to be eating. Ima Ahuba, set apart living. She got all the, she got all the recipes. All right. But all praises, glory, and honor to the Most High, y'all. You understand? I salute you, brothers and sisters, for standing strong. All right. And constantly praying for us as we pray for y'all. You dig? And, learn to send peace and love towards your enemies. Send it toward them. You'll feel so much better. And that's how you know, guess what? Guess what? We got motion. All right. The Most High sun shine on the righteous and the wicked. His rain fall on the righteous and the wicked. All right. Let your love be like that. Like you a son or a daughter of your father, ain't you? Well, hey, you got to go ahead and, adopt his characteristics. It is what it is. All right, y'all. Let's pray on out. Our praises. Peace, love, light, healing, and balance to the family. Let's pray on out and get it done. All right, that's right. That brew, he said that's on that B12 is on Amazon. Then he said make sure it's vegan. Make sure it's plant-based. And we're gonna pick this back up tomorrow. All praise, glory, and honor to the Most High. Bless up. All right, y'all. Let's face Jerusalem and get it done. Shout out to all the haters, jaw jackers, and naysayers. We love y'all too. All right. All right, we're going to face Jerusalem. We're going to offer up these prayers. And we're going to get on up out of here, all right? Let's get her done. All right, let me see. Yeah, it's going down out here, y'all. Metaverses and all type of madness, all right? All right. Warfare prayer. A prayer of warfare. All right. Heavenly Father, we bow and worship and praise before you. We cover ourselves with the eternal spirit of the Master. Yahushua HaMashiach is our protection. We surrender ourselves completely and unreservedly in every area of our life to you. We take a stand against all the workers of Satan that will hinder us in our prayer life. We address ourselves only. We address ourselves only to the true and living power and refuse any involvement of Satan in our prayers. Satan, we command you in the name, power, and authority of Yahushua HaMashiach, Yahushua HaNazarene Melech Yahudim, to leave our presence with all your demons. We bring the spirit of the Master Yahushua HaMashiach between us. We resist all the endeavors of the wicked one and his wicked spirits to rob us of the will of the Heavenly Father. We choose to be transformed by the renewing of our minds. We pull down the strongholds of Satan. Satan, we come against all powers, principalities, evil forces in this world, and spiritual wickedness in high places. We come against all demons, inside or outside of anyone present, over our cities, over our states, over this Israelite nation and world, in hell or out of hell. The Bible says, behold, I give unto you power. I give unto you power to stomp out serpents and scorpions and over all the power of the enemy. And nothing shall by any means hurt you. We intend to flex this power to set ourselves free. Satan, we come against you. We attack you. We bind you by the power and spirit of Yahushua HaMashiach, by the spoken word of the Heavenly Father, by the name of Yahushua, the mighty Messiah, and by the authority of us, the true believers, in the unity of our spirits. We tell you, Satan, that we sit in heavenly places with our Master Yahushua. We are over you. We have the authority over you. We have the charge over you. Your fallen angels, your demons, and all forces of evil. We command you to line up in rank and file in order and come out now. Come out now. We bind up every power that you have and loose ourselves from you in the name, power, and authority of Yahushua HaMashiach, Yahushua HaNazarene Melech Yahudim, Master Yahushua. We ask that you would send the gifts of the fiery Holy Spirit, Ruach HaKodesh, as needed to minister to the needs of the people and to accomplish what you want done. We are careful to give you all the glory, honor, praise, and credit for everything that is said or done. We ask all these things in the blessed name of Yahushua HaMashiach, our Master, our Savior, our Healer, our King, the destroyer of the works and the destroyer of the works of the devil and every work of demon under his command. And we take authority over the wicked one according to the whole word of the Heavenly Father. For it's in the Messiah's name, Yahushua HaMashiach, Yahushua HaNazarene Melech Yahudim, that we pray and we declare war against the kingdom of darkness. Hallelujah! 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 Praise the mighty Yah. Oh, real thing this. Hallelujah. All praise, glory, and honor to the Most High. Heating up around this deal. Forever live his anointed, beloved Son in the hearts and minds of the faithful elect. Love all you brothers and sisters in deed and in truth. Y'all stay focused. Y'all stay focused. Y'all stay righteous. Y'all stay peaceful. Command peace within your realm. Command peace, not war. Send forth worldwide righteousness and peace because the world needs it. The world needs it. You understand? So all praise, glory, and honor to the Most High, forever live his anointed, beloved Son in the hearts and minds of all you brothers and sisters. My Marcus Israel, bless up. Bless up. Charles Israel, the professional, bless up. Y'all keep praying for y'all, brother. That brother 2-0 in that ring. Professional, bless up. Hallelujah. Mikael the Battle Axe. Adino, bless up. What's the word? Brother Yahoo died. Bless up, bless up. Lion of Yah. He said, I'm a cool bro, huh? All praises, bro. Down to earth. I'm y'all people. I'm your brother. That's it. That's what it is over here. I'm not looking for no chief seats of eminence. Hey, I'm all good. I'm all good, man. Hey, look, I just love to bang for a righteous cause. You understand? That's what it's about, right? And I love to take care of everybody that's around. You know, if I got it and you need it, hey, we're going to get it done. We're going to make sure you get it, all right? So all praise and glory now to the Most High, forever lives, anointed, beloved Son. I see y'all in the building. All right, y'all. Look, y'all willing, we right back live, 1 p.m. Central Standard Time. You know, man, we don't want to be going too hard on these Friday nights. 5-6 hours. You did. We just go ahead and put something out there real quick. Let you feast on that. All right, let y'all feast on that, meditate on that while you're resting this evening, and be right back at it tomorrow if it be the Most High will. All right. So all praise and glory now to the Most High. Black Mac 1978. Boy, I love that name. Bless up, bro. Bless up. What's up? All praises. All right, love y'all indeed and in truth. Until the next time, y'all. Hey, look, and pray till you feel the Spirit going forth. Right? Pray till you heat up, till you feel it. You understand? And be surrounded or enveloped with your answer. Pray as if it's already there. Right? All right? That feeling, that's what you need. That them feelings and them emotions link up. That's what you need to manifest what you want. You want to attract it right to you. All right? In full faith, that is. All right, until the next time, y'all, love y'all indeed in truth. Travel back up. Long live the king, y'all.